This week's episode of the Co-optional Podcast is proudly sponsored by Squarespace. Get 10% off your first order at squarespace.com/cooptional. Create your own professional-looking website with no prior knowledge required at squarespace.com/cooptional. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Co-optional Podcast.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
How's
Hey.
everybody?
Hi.
You're singing Be a Man.
You were singing it.
No,
were all
we're all
singing
singing
together.
it.
We were
I know.
just
You're
experiencing-
man.
We were all
experiencing the love.
involved.
This podcast
Yeah,
is no longer
that.
available due to a copyright claim by Disney Corporation.
No, don't worry. I slurred the words so
On
badly.
purpose, yeah, it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
They
yeah.
won't
Yeah,
get the
but that's
detection
like
on it
how
now,
the
obviously.
Whatever.
American
It's a
Idol.
little
That's how they
racist.
sing it anyway. They're always like,
Wow.
I prefer the Street Fighter version. I'll make a Dan out of you. That's so much better.
You would. You would.
Of
TV.
course I would.
You
I am
filthy
anything
damn
if not
lover.
somewhat predictable. No doubt about that. Welcome to the Co-optional Podcast. We do occasionally talk about video games. Coming up the show, we'll be talking about the games that we have been playing this week. If there was news, I'm sure we'd talk about that, but we bloody well won't be, because there's nothing!
There's much, man.
I don't know.
There's
I
not
found
much.
some good news today.
Cool,
Makes me
well,
laugh.
I guess we will deal with that a little bit later on in the show then. And then we will simply wrap up the show with releases and tell you to go watch our damn videos and all that sort of thing. Simple as that, nothing too complex. Our guest today, returning guest for the umpteenth time, mostly because of Blood Bowl 2, because we needed to fill time. It's Crendor, welcome to the show.
proud to be back. I think I'm on like appearance number 300. We're closing in.
Back.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Make a big time plays out in the field there. I just show up for my team. You got to go out there. You got to make the big time plays. Can't let them down.
He put the team on his back, though. Greg
on
his back,
though. Greg, Jamie.
He had a broken leg, though.
Dylan Sharper, the hardest hitting safety in the league.
Jesse,
no,
turn
my
your
video
damn camera
turned off.
back on.
I didn't mean to. I got so excited. That's
So
my favorite
excited.
video on the internet. My second favorite.
So
I
great.
discovered my new favorite video this week, but I love that video. With
Is
the
it the
broken leg, he
Potion
put the
Master
team on his back, though.
Yeah.
Greg,
See, now your
Jennings.
camera's not coming back on, Jesse, you jackass. God
I didn't
damn it.
mean to. I just mashed it. I got excited. I'm sorry.
How do you even mash the camera button? Does that even have a hotkey? You would have had to actually
Yeah,
go
I'm
and
trying to
click
figure
it.
out how you could have
Like,
done
I
that. I'm
don't
looking at my
look. I
keyboard right
don't
now.
know. I don't know. These are questions that I can't even
spinning.
answer you.
No,
I see
apparently
myself. I see myself.
not.
in it.
Nobody
Look
else does. You are now a spinning
We don't-
circle. To be
we
fair,
don't-
that's something
we
of an
can't see
improvement.
you.
It's like
Yeah,
a
we're
mirror
fine then.
now.
Yeah.
Great.
But as per usual, I hear two of you, so it's kind of like you're here.
Yeah,
We share a
We-
wall. That's the joke, everybody who's watching.
we can talk about the potion seller. Hello, potion seller.
No.
Potion seller. I
Potion
need
seller.
your
I need
finest
a potion.
Jesse was
That's
walking around the
video.
office showing that to people yesterday, and I was like, "Yeah, that video. It always comes back. That video will never die."
Potion seller. I love potion.
I watched
seller.
that
He's like,
and I really liked it, and then it just went on, and it,
Right, I
it
like how
kept
he-
going
It went
on.
on too
I like-
long for you.
Yeah,
I like how at the end he's like, "No, warrior, my potions are too strong for you," and he's like, oh, "Potion seller, how dare you, potion seller?" And I like how he gets into it at the end. It's great.
He does a lot of those videos. That's the only one that I think that's really taken off, though.
Potion seller, the video. I'm still a circle. This is bullshit. Hold on.
yeah, you gotta
Oh!
unplug it. Like back
Again,
in.
you got to be swift as the coursing babbling brook.
You gotta
That work?
unplug it.
with all the muscles of a.
You gotta unplug the camera and
Mighty
plug it back
hurricane.
in.
Don't do that.
He's got to do it.
No,
That's the
you'll
only way.
break it. It'll crash his Skype.
It's already
everything.
broken.
I'd rather have the reliable spinning circle than breaking the whole stream before we even get started, you know? I'll take
Might
that.
as well break it at the start than halfway through.
True. I
Yeah, but we
concur.
can do, like, that's something you could do during the break when we don't have to...
That's-
He's...
I would have unplugged it already.
Bye, Jesse.
Oh,
I'd be
my
back. Look at
God.
Look at that. He's going to come back in.
There we
He
go.
is. Look at that.
Okay, we're good.
Oh,
We're good.
I
Wow.
don't see him
Crendor.
yet.
That's why
Crendor
Crendor's
IT
the coach.
technician.
Ah, there he is.
Crendor's the
six
coach we
strats.
need.
Yes.
I'm
Told
going to have
you,
to
I've
start
been around here
drinking
a
quite
long
early in
time.
the day to deal with this show, I have a feeling.
I've been around here a long time. I know how things work. I know what we need to make this thing keeps moving. And, you know,
Yes, go on.
that's all I got.
Can I give a
moving, guys.
recommendation? I would like to
No.
give a recommendation. So I was in DC recently. Fuck
Mhm.
that city, by the way. The traffic in DC is fucking stupid.
What are you there for?
We're doing the Red Bull event, the Red Bull
Oh,
Battlegrounds,
gotcha. Right.
and that city is awful. I thought LA was bad for traffic. DC has topped everything in terms of completely fucking stupid traffic. There is traffic that doesn't move for seemingly no reason, and everybody gets angry about it, knowing that they can't do anything about it, but we still can't figure out what is happening. So that's awful. Don't like that at all.
I'm waiting for the recommendation part of this story.
But I flew in and out of Reagan Airport or whatever. We didn't go through Dulles, went through Reagan or whatever it is. And we were hungry and it was like half an hour before the flight. And there wasn't really a lot to eat there. But we found this. Everyone seemed to be going to this one place. And I think it was called Love Pizza or something along those lines. And we're like,
Loves pizza?
Love Pizza in DC. And
Look this up.
so we thought, okay, sure. We'll give it a shot, I suppose. I think it's actually called At Pizza. I have the box here.
There's love letter pizza. We
It's,
love pizza.
Yeah,
Pizza.
this is the
So
box
good.
for it. You and
Wait,
pizza.
did you save a box?
What?
Well, I took the rest home because it was delicious, and I ate it later. I took it on the plane. But so they
That's
make
not
these. It's kind of like Subway, only not shit.
Oh, it's
and for
called
pizza.
And Pizza. It's
Yeah, I
just
think it's called And Pizza. Yeah, it's got. Yeah, I think it's called And. Yeah, you're right. It's called And Pizza.
Oh, I'm on
So-
their website.
Yeah, and you sort of they make a sort of smallish, sort of thin crust pizza, and you pick the crust, and then you pick whatever toppings you want and all that shit, and they sort of do it like Subway, and then they put it straight through a very very fast sort of pizza
Oh, that's
oven.
like Pyology down the street from Maker.
I guess.
Never
I mean
been
something
there.
like that.
It's
And it was
like
awesome.
Subway where you make the
great.
pizza in front of you.
Yeah,
They
it
have
was
a really
great.
shit one called like 5-minute pizza or something. That's all. Pie 5.
Oh,
That's the
this
one.
this
They
place
got
is
a
not
billion
shit.
of
It's
those.
actually
They're really
delicious.
shitty.
Really, really nice pizza. You put whatever you want on it, and they don't look weird at you. You know, I ask for chicken in this country, and people are like, what? Why would you put chicken on pizza? I'm like, you heathens. You have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah, Sam was always all about barbecue sauce instead of tomato,
Sure.
and then chicken. And I think that's the
Yeah.
most disgusting thing I've ever tasted.
Barbecue
It's
chicken pizza.
You haven't had my chicken and
Delicious.
sweet
so
corn
bad,
pizza.
I
That's a
hate
big
that.
place.
My
Ugh.
chicken and sweet
Yeah,
corn
that's
pizza
big
is
place.
just wonderful.
Good. That's a
Great.
big place. Chicken
But yeah,
on pizza.
this place is good. I
Even Papa
if you happen to
John's has
be
that.
if you happen to be in
Not
the
bad.
airport, I would strongly recommend. If you're looking for quick, tasty pizza, that was quick, tasty pizza. It was good. I enjoyed it. So there's my recommendation. That's the only good thing about DC, by the way. Oh, and there was a Nandos. We found a Nandos, so we went there.
Yeah.
What? There's a Nando's in the United States
Yep,
of
there are
America?
actually several in
There's
DC.
2 Nandos in Chicago.
Yep. So we went to Nando's,
Yeah.
and we discovered the U.S. doesn't know what a wing roulette is. They have no idea.
I don't know what that is. Explain.
What? What?
The wing roulette is something that they started serving a few years
Wait,
back
is
in
it just
Nando's.
is it just where they give you a basket of wings and you're just like
Not a basket.
One of
It-
these is gonna kill me.
It's on a
but-
spinning plate. That's
Yeah.
the
Oh,
whole
okay.
point.
Like
So you
roulette.
get like 10 wings, they're around the edge, and you spin the plate, and then you take whatever wing is there. One of those wings is super, super, super hot, and they're all sort of
Right.
vary temperatures. So we tried to explain to them with we had a party of like 20 people there. And we tried to explain to them what the concept of wing roulette was. I'm like, can you make us a wing roulette? I was like, we don't have no idea what that is. So we're sort of explaining it. And they seem to get the idea. And eventually out comes like 40 wings, on 3 separate plates. So we're thinking they've screwed this up. They didn't understand what we wanted. So we just start digging in. We're like, whatever, we got wings. It wasn't on the menu. It's fine. So everyone starts digging in. Everyone's happy until one person picks one up. Turns out they did understand it. They just didn't present it in the same way. This guy is, for about 20 minutes, tried to cool his tongue off. And I'd encouraged him to drink cider with me. So we were all drinking, I think it was Crispin or something, hard cider. Now, acidic cider does not help with burning sensations at all. It is, in fact, quite the opposite. So he's trying to douse the flames in his mouth, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. It was just wonderful. It's a restaurant and a fantastic torture experience. I thought that was great.
Oh my god,
roulette.
Very
like,
happy.
If you drink carbonation with spicy stuff, it increases the burn. It's awesome.
It does, yes.
So pretty much anything except for dairy, right? Like it just
for the most part, yeah,
dairy.
it just makes it worse.
Mouth instead of like nullifying it.
Like whenever
chemistry.
you have sushi, like sushi and wasabi and stuff, like I always drink like Coke with that because it like just makes it go like brr.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but wasabi has that great burn, man.
Yeah.
Wasabi and like hot mustard. Oh, that like I have no interest in getting rid of that burn.
I know. I love that.
Good.
I hate wasabi. I can't stand it.
What?
It sneaks
So
into
good.
things. Not a fan.
It's great.
So good.
No. We were never used to it. Like, wasabi was not a big thing in the UK. Maybe it is now, but the burn that we were always used to is like Indian curry.
Indian.
So,
That's the sort of burn that's hard
We tried
for me.
finding spicy stuff in when we were at CoxCon. We couldn't find any. It showed me that the British people don't like hot things.
there's
Right?
plenty of places.
Remember?
You just go into
Yeah.
the wrong places.
Yeah.
Remember when I got the tikka masala and I
I'm
was
sorry,
like,
you got a tikka masala and you expected that to be spicy?
yeah, because here you can get it spicy.
No.
So I was
the whole
so
like
I got it because I was like, oh yeah, that sounds good. And then I forgot that y'all
We don't do
created
the
that
heat level.
because you're wimpy.
No,
Yeah.
it's a very weird thing because in the States, for some reason, you can order a specific curry and then specify how hot you want it. That's not how it's supposed to work, right?
Yeah.
A madras is supposed
I'm
to be
sorry,
hot.
what? You mean America doesn't get choice? My friend, that's not how it works here. We
Fuck
get to
choice.
decide.
Yeah, but it ruins it. Like a madras is
doesn't.
supposed
No,
to be hot. A
it
vindaloo
freedoms
is supposed
it.
to be very
It
hot.
freedoms it.
Fuck your freedom. You guys have
Makes
no
it
idea what
better.
you're doing. Like, you can't be trusted with freedom. We need to just revoke your independence. You've had it long enough. You've clearly proven
Nope.
that you're not responsible enough to handle it.
Doesn't
Just-
matter.
No.
We're like your child who's gone off to college. Can't control us anymore, Dad.
we do what we want, Dad.
We do what we want now. We going to parties now, Dad.
Yeah.
Hooking up with
It's
strange
bothersome.
kids.
Like, there's a place in my area where you can order a korma and then specify how hot you want it. It's a korma. It's a fucking light coconut milk curry.
I don't
It's
even
not
know
supposed
what
to
a
be spicy
korma
at all.
is.
It's a very mild
Why?
curry. Mild curry.
And that's one that I would expect to be not spicy at all. But I really love the taste of tikka masala when you make it like really spicy. So I was like, tikka masala sounds so good. And then I ordered it and I was like, this is the mildest curry I've ever had. Ever.
It's really
They
weird
have,
because the tikka
like,
masala isn't a
habaneros.
real Indian curry. It's something
Right.
that the English basically
was
made
created.
up, and it's supposed to be a sort of medium heat. It's very popular because it's not particularly offensive to the palate. You don't have to work up to it or anything like that. But you're talking about a made-up version of a made-up version of a curry. Like, the American
we
spin
do.
is a further made-up version on a
mean
curry that's
improved.
not
Like
real in the
Taco
first
Bell.
place.
You mean improved?
Or Panda
It-
Express.
Panda Express. Oh
I
God!
love
Every
Panda
time I have
Express
Panda
once a
Express, my
month.
whole body's like, why? Why did you do this?
Panda Express is pretty much the worst.
Yeah.
It's
Like the
great
single
once a
worst.
month.
No, man.
It
Nope.
is.
So much oil all at once. Your whole
All right.
body's just
Oh,
like,
man.
get it out.
Do they have habaneros in England? Because I wanted Sam to eat a habanero. He's
they-
like, I've never
They
eaten one
do, but
before.
like Mexican chilies and sort of South American chili is not that popular. Mexican food is really badly done in the UK. It's not huge. It's not a big thing because we're obviously mostly into the European stuff. So we don't do it very well. And as a result, chili heat is not something that people are really familiar with.
Mm.
You can get it, sure, but it probably won't be very good.
I just really wanted Sam to eat one to film it.
He could probably handle it. No.
I don't
If he's
know.
had enough decent
Look.
curries, he should be all right.
Next time he's here, next time we're all
Yeah.
hanging out, you just produce one
Yeah,
and hand it to him.
it's like a
Beast
magician.
mode.
pops
Like
out.
a
of
terrible, terrible magician.
You know,
I had this in
if
my pocket. Ta-da!
If we do CoxCon next year, I'll drag you all to Spiceland, which was the place that we went to.
Yeah, you talked that place up so much, and
fucking
I want it
good.
now.
Yeah. And I'll introduce you to a proper hot curry. There was some decent stuff there. Pretty happy with it. Anyway, that's about 20 minutes of food discussion because we know we don't have a lot of news today, so we're mostly filling for time. Simple as
McRib's
that.
back. You can make the McCox and Crendor again.
McCox.
What is the McCox and Crendor exactly?
Crendor, do the honors, please.
It is a McRib in which you take a was it a jalapeno double, and
Yes,
you put that in
jalapeno
the
McDouble.
middle of the McRib, and then you eat it.
Yeah, so it's a burger within a McRib, and you eat it all at once.
Yeah.
So why have you decided to put your brand upon this burger in a burger?
Why not? No one else had done it.
I just
Yeah.
mean, what inspired you to create this thing and then be like,
Life.
we need
Yeah,
this?
because
to be
much
ours.
like America, we
Mm.
are all about barbecue
Mhm.
and processed food,
Mhm.
and we're a little spicy. And there's two of us, hence the McDouble.
See,
So put it
You're
in
all
the middle.
about barbecue, and
Yeah.
yet you went to McDonald's.
Which one of
I
you-
mean, what's more American than McDonald's?
Yeah.
It's
Important
shitty
question.
barbecue, though.
Which one of
Doesn't
you
matter.
symbolizes the burger that's in the middle of the other burger?
No, the burger has two patties. That's us. The barbecue is America. The processed barbecue is
Yeah.
America. And combining it all together shows that we are just like the listeners.
Fake pork with shitty barbecue sauce. That's America right there. If
That's
I
America
ever-
right there.
if I
I'll
ever-
get it. Ask for McCox and Crendor. When they say they don't know what it is, slap the person behind the counter and tell them
Yeah.
and walk on out of there.
to just leave.
Warning, our lawyers do not encourage this type of behavior. We are not responsible for any type of slaps that are occurring in lawsuits and so
You have
Yeah.
that well practiced.
We
Gotta
do.
practice
I
it.
was going
We
to say,
know-
you must have had several lawsuits up to this point
I
that
was
I
gonna
don't know
say, I
about.
think they encourage people to do terrible things often and realized eventually it's gonna catch
I'd
up with
say
them.
we have a well practice. Aha.
Ah. Let's talk about video games. What have you been playing this week, Dodger?
Well, Crendor and I can go into Blood Bowl.
Should we just do the Blood Bowl now?
Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
I love the
Back
fact
on.
that your answer was Crendor and I could go into Blood Bowl.
You knew it was
the
coming.
side
It's
at
like
the side at the end of it was so perfect. Like, I guess we could talk about it.
No, I know that Crendor will have more to say about it than me, but I have played it a bit. It's definitely better than the first Blood Bowl.
Before you
man.
go
I
on,
still haven't
Jesse,
played with the
have you
first, though.
dived back into it yet?
Jesse
Blood
fucking
Bowl?
hates
Yeah.
Blood Bowl. Have you touched it?
Yeah, but he's going to be playing with us, so I just wanted to know if he's playing.
Are
with
you?
us.
Are you in the league?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm playing
Yeah.
Chaos, baby girl.
Why do you
and
keep
I,
doing this to yourself?
I don't know. It's
Well-
going to be. I'm looking forward to the salt.
I'm
That's all
going
I
with
can
the-
say.
I'm going with a different strategy. Last time I wanted to win. This time I've changed my strategy to where I have been practicing, but only in how to effectively get the best kills. I no longer care about points.
So you're
my
you're in
goal
about
is-
ruining the
I just
league
want to ruin
then.
everybody else's team.
My
Yeah.
goal is to ruin
Respect
everyone
that.
else's fun, and it starts by murdering little Skittles.
All right, I
will only
tried that.
continue.
I tried it. I was playing
tried
Chaos
it.
Dwarves. I thought I was well equipped to do it, and I fucking failed every
Here's the
time.
thing,
That
I am
little
going to-
bastard.
I'm going to rig it so Crendor and I are the last people to play each other, and I want to have
rig it.
tentacles. I want to have crazy ass tentacles, and like all
can
sorts of
get
shit. When I
them.
go in, the Minotaur is gonna step on him. I named my team Coxpocalypse now, and we play at the Pepsi End Times Arena, and my Minotaur is named the Cataclysm,
Oh
and
my
all
god.
my guys are named really awful names, and I can't wait. I'm not even gonna try to win. I have no desire to win, only to kill everyone's other. Then I'll walk away and be like, 0-2 loss. Well, that's a shame. Half your team's dead though, so
Indeed.
have fun next
I
time.
wish, man,
Okay, back to
deep in my
Dodger. Sorry
heart,
for interrupting
I really,
you.
really wish that Amazons were on there, but I'm excited to be dwarves because every single time I've talked with Sam about Blood Bowl, he's like, "Fucking dwarves, though."
Fuck dwarves.
Yeah,
Fuck
dwarves are annoying as
Dwarves.
shit.
It's like everybody hates them because they run the clock and they hurt people, and that's their
can't kill
primary
them.
strategy. And I'm like,
Yep. They're really heavily
Let's do
armored.
it.
They basically grind you down. And going up against dwarves is... I preferred Chaos Dwarves because they had a bit of speed and a little bit of flexibility, but I'll admit, the first time I played Chaos Dwarves against you lot, I was grinding you down just like a dwarf team.
Do you remember murdering my whole team?
Yes, I do. The amount of injuries your team sustained for my dwarf team was ludicrous.
Insane. At the end of the game, you were like, I mean, I guess I can use these last couple of turns to just kill everyone else. And just, there were 2 people left, and you were like, let's just...
I wanted the points from the injuries, really.
No.
It's true.
You need that sweet SPP. I get it.
Here's the thing. You can't play fair. You have to foul. You have to just kill everyone.
I'm always so scared to foul. I'm always terrified that I'm going to get caught. And I'm glad. I don't think that before they would give you an idea of the percentage toward fouling and getting away with it. And even now,
they literally made this game 12,000% more playable. Now they give you percentages.
Sure, percentages help so much going through like tackle zones and stuff. You're like, what's the
huge
likelihood
deal.
that I'm going to make it through there?
The thing is, when you foul, that percentage is the chance you have of injuring him.
I don't think that's true.
When you roll doubles, that's when you get kicked out.
I'm letting you know right now.
I am 99% sure.
I think you might be right there.
It's not
actually.
clear. That's the one percentage that's not clear at all to me.
I need to know this because what happened was I was playing a game against some dwarves and I beat this guy up and he was all by himself in one corner of the field and I had 4 guys over there. So because I was afraid of someone seeing it or something, like I don't know how that works, I surrounded him on 3 sides and it said 67% chance. And I thought that was of someone seeing it happen.
No.
So I got a guy on the other side, surrounded on all 4 sides, 33% chance. I was like, oh shit. Yeah. Now no one's going to see him. I stomped him and killed him and it worked. Everything was fine. And so my assumption was the percentage meant people seeing it.
No.
Yeah, that's what I assumed too.
Oh,
and
people are
Crendor
saying
and Sam
that's
said
the
that's not true.
percentage of rolling doubles.
So all right.
Well,
so hang on. That surely would never change, though.
But
That
yeah,
wouldn't change their dice.
The thing
Yeah,
is,
because
how it normally worked is every guy you'd add around the guy you're fouling,
Gives you a
that would
+1.
add like +1 to the armor break.
It
So
does.
if you have a lot of guys, it'll break the armor like in no problem and you'll injure him.
that does, in theory, reduce the chances of. That still doesn't matter because the 2 rolls are independent. The way that it used to work, and I'm pretty sure it still works this way, is for the armor break roll for injury on a foul, if you roll a double, you get caught. It's as simple as that. You can still injure him, but your player will also get tossed out. So in theory, that number should be consistent every single time, like in terms of percentage chance. The percentage chance of injuring him is based on his armor and the number of people you have around to pile on.
It's very important to my strategy.
Let's make this super, super simple. When I go to foul somebody, do I want a low number or a high number percentage?
I don't know.
I think
all I know is
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense.
I think you want a high number percentage. I'm pretty sure it's the chance of breaking armor.
all you want a lot of guys surrounding the guy. That's what you
because
want,
everyone
and
will
then
kick him at
foul.
the same time, which will
But
increase your chance.
I had all the people surrounding him, and it gave me a lower percentage.
Yeah. So,
But-
would you want a lower number?
But
I don't know what they mean.
But who was it?
neither.
Was it the same guy? Was it the same guy you're trying to foul though? Like at the same time, because it depends on the armor rating of the dude.
Oh no, it was the exact same guy the entire time. He was at first
Really
stunned,
weird.
and so he was laying down, and he was knocked over, and he has the star. So it's like, good, I can get guys around him. I have at least 1 or 2 turns. So I had 4 dudes around him. Well, 3 at first, and it was 67%. And because the crowd could see him on one side of the ball, it was like, oh well, 67% chance he'll get caught because the crowd can see
how
him.
it works.
So then I put a guy around the other side where the crowd was, and he's surrounded on 4 sides, now at 33%. And so if it's a lower percent chance that I would be successful in breaking his armor, why is that the case if he's surrounded by 4 dudes? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. None of this makes sense.
No, that actually doesn't. I've got to be honest, like I haven't played enough of Blood Bowl 2 to figure that particular thing out. But the UI is a lot better. It seems like there might still be a few issues here and there. I know Strippin was complaining a lot about what the end turn button is.
Yeah. Well, they changed it.
I have yet to
They
have a
just
problem
patched
with
it.
that. Where is it now?
I don't know, but they said in the patch today, they're like, we've moved the unturn button.
Yeah, because people were accidentally clicking it.
Yeah.
Find out then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just saw where it popped up actually. Yeah, it pops up like over the field, and it could be right next to a guy you're clicking
that
on.
was
Yeah,
like
that's
the
a
number
silly
1
idea.
complaint.
Yeah.
So they changed it. It's different now.
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know
at
where they
least.
moved it, but they moved it out of the way now.
I've been trying to
The one
figure
I-
out if they have hotkeys like they had in the first one that give you the full court grid
They
and
do
all
not,
of that.
You do not
No.
get the grid.
But
that does not
Yeah.
exist.
If you upgrade your field, you can upgrade your stadium now, and you can add like the blacktop grid, and that pretty much gives you a grid. And if you have the blacktop grid, when players do go for it rolls, they have a higher chance of injuring themselves if they fall, because it's cement.
That's
So it
funny.
adds
Does that
one to the
actually
armor
apply to the
I want that
to
so
the multiplayer
badly.
league play,
Yeah.
or is that solely the single player campaign?
No, it applies to the multiplayer.
That's fucking
But the
bonkers.
things they add to it, like they're not like for one team specifically. Like your team can have it happen too. So it's like it'll affect both teams.
Yeah, I was gonna say that can't only apply to your enemy. That would be
Yeah,
fucked
it doesn't just apply to your mates. So
Yeah.
I did it just because I want people to get hurt. So
Look,
That's kind of amusing.
ever since I had to suffer through like the first 2 games of last season,
Wood
where
elves.
my elves died. I like lost in the first 2
You
games.
got
I lost half my
murdered.
team. Half my team was dead. So ever since I learned that players can be permanently killed, that's all I care about now. Is ruining everyone else's day. You're gonna try so hard to make such good characters. God, they're just gonna die. They're just gonna you're gonna watch them die, and I can't wait. I can't wait
It's
till
funny.
It's gonna be like the Lord of the Rings, just gonna fade off into oblivion with like weird choral music in the background.
here's the thing:
It's
if Lil Skittles were to die, I am prepared to make an RIP and Lil Skittles shirt,
Oh my
which will
God.
honor him and his accomplishments.
It's gonna have
I'll
a
give them
statue
more
of little
money.
Skittles like reflecting on a ball. It's just like
It's funny how often people judge a race that they've played like once or twice entirely because of the dice rolls that they got with that
Yeah.
race. I was talking
Yeah.
with Sam about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I tried out. It's Dark Elves in this game.
Yeah, I'm
right?"
supposed to be playing Dark Elves this time,
Yeah.
and it may not be a good idea.
Sam was like, "I tried out Dark Elves, and then I got 4 bad rolls, tripped, and killed one of my guys." And then I decided I never wanted to play Dark Elves again. And I was like, that is not, I mean, that's,
That could have worked. That could have happened to anybody.
that could have
though.
happened to any
Yeah.
team. Yeah.
That's just Sam. Me and Sam have played. I've probably played like 50 hours. And I think
Jesus
Sam has
Christ.
probably played like 70 hours.
What? I don't even want to
Yeah.
play in a league with you guys anymore. I've had like 2 hours total on Blood Bowl 2. I mean, obviously I played the previous one quite a bit, but God, this is good. You guys are tryharding for this league this time around.
They love the game. Earlier,
enjoy the game.
I just really like it. Earlier, Crendor was joking, but not really joking, and saying, "I think that I talk to your boyfriend way more than you do." And I was like, "No, you do though. You actually do."
I really do. Me and Sam, we're always just playing Blood Bowl. We're on TeamSpeak, or like we have like our WhatsApp chat, you know? Like
Have-
me, him,
Two in love.
Benji.
You're 2 in love.
Have any of you had a chance to play any of the
have
campaign
a lot
yet?
of
I know the game just came out today,
I'm-
but
I haven't touched the
No.
campaign because
I'm
the
interested in
campaign
that.
wasn't included in the beta, right?
no, it wasn't. You could get a
Yeah,
review
so I
a
haven't-
review copy of it, but obviously I think the embargo was like today or something. I didn't get around to playing the campaign, but it's supposed to be like fully featured, like where you are literally taking the shittiest team in the universe through this plot, and there's events that happen to you as you go and all that kind of thing. That sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah. They said the campaign's supposed to be like a lot improved over the old one. and
Yeah,
pretty-
the old one was pretty
Awesome.
crappy.
Yeah. So I'll probably try that out. But I mean, I haven't tried it out yet because it just came out today.
Yeah. I do need to give that a shot and then get practicing. We are delaying the league launch because the 2 extra races that we need to make sure everyone has a different race have been delayed like a week, haven't they?
Yeah, they've been delayed like a week. They said it'll
When are
be
we
out
starting the league
like
now?
before October 3rd. Like that'll be like the latest it would be out. So it's probably going to be out in like a week. So it's because they want, apparently it costs money to do like a big game update and release DLC and stuff. I think
On
it's 'cause of
consoles, it does,
consoles.
yes.
Yeah, so
it's,
that's
it's
why
actually one of
they're-
the worst things about consoles.
Yeah, so they're like delaying it to make it come out with the first big patch update. So it's all at once.
Fucking consoles. So consoles are the reason that we don't have those
Yeah.
races yet.
It's consoles.
Just as
Yep.
if I needed another reason to hate them. Yeah.
And I mean that is the lizard men and the wood elves. So I mean that is little Skittles. And if I didn't play little Skittles, people would lose their shit.
No doubt.
I would lose my shit.
Yeah.
I don't get to play
Cataclysm is coming for
Bamazons.
you.
Well,
Cataclysm is coming.
It sounds like the way they're going to be doing it is they're just going to release individual races as they're done with them as DLC, rather than saying, oh, now you have to buy the Legendary Edition, which is like $40 more and all that shit. Or the Chaos Edition, which was like 3 races. It's like, really?
Right.
Guys, that was awful. There weren't even like amazing races either, although I did enjoy my Chaos Dwarves. But yeah, I think this model is better. I heard about how much it costs for them to make a race, and I was staggered. I'm like, fuck me. That is a lot of money.
Because they do completely different animations for
yes,
all
they
of
don't
the different
reuse
races.
any
They have
animations.
totally different meshes. The elves, I think, would be able to use the same mesh, but other than that, they're all totally different.
That's what's really cool about this game too, is like it's a lot more watchable from like a viewer standpoint.
I think
Because
so,
like
too.
you'll watch the animations happen, and every time
they're
like
good.
an animation happens, you're just like, oh shit, is he gonna get hurt? And you're like, oh, he didn't, or like, oh, he did. It's like every time.
You know what I hate though is when, because I zoom in and out a lot. Sometimes I zoom all the way out so I can see the whole board. And if you're playing on a stadium and the weather is cloudy, you'll zoom out and then suddenly you can't see anything because you're in the clouds.
Oh,
like
dear.
there's overcast that's blocking your view. And I'm like, fuck, god damn, like I can't.
Oops.
Hate
You know,
that.
you have to improve your tactical play closer to the field. You know,
Yeah, you have to learn
No,
how
I
to
zooming out
refuse.
so much.
judge situation on the fly.
No,
Yeah.
incorrect, wrong.
That's why you
Correct.
won't win.
Yeah. So whenever that happens, then the league will happen. So probably a week from now. It's the ideal date. Let's see what else in the
then
game.
stay tuned for awesome videos where Crendor takes too long to make a move, and
Although
everyone
now
sits
it's
there
only-
waiting patiently.
It's only 2-minute turns
Render's
though.
not as bad.
I've improved my speed in this game because I know what I'm doing a lot better.
I
Maybe
may
2-minute
have...
turns?
What?
2-minute turns?
Yeah, it's
Is
2
that the plan
minutes.
for the?
Yeah.
The first league we did was 4 minutes, which is
That was way
insane.
too long.
Yeah.
Those games were like hours.
Those
thing
videos
I've
were awful
noticed
to
is,
make.
like-
Really bad.
2 minutes is really good because a lot of times I finish my turn in like a minute anyway. So it's like, because they've like stopped the clock on a lot of things now. So like if you move your guy, it'll like even rewind the clock to make up for the time lost. Like it's a lot better than what it was when we did our
I like
last.
the rewinds for the.
Oh,
something
yeah.
screws
For the
up and it's like,
rerolls?
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
The
I
production
like
values
the
are just generally
rewinds
higher.
when the same thing happens twice. in a
Oh my
row.
god, it's great. Yes, when they
It's
try
so
to go
satisfying.
for it, it's like rewind and they do it again, and it's fall on their face. It's like, yay!
Yay! You wasted a reroll. Yay!
Yeah, it's like even if you're a newer person, it's a lot easier to just pick up and play because of the percentages they added in. And so instead of just being like, oh, red squares, I don't know what that means. Now it's like 10% chance of being successful. And you're like, oh, that's
feel like-
bad.
I feel like sometimes I get confused whether I'm walking into, whether I'm putting one of my dudes into a zone where they're going to get tripped, or if the color of the square is showing whether or not they're going to be able to do any damage from there. Like I get confused about like the zones and what the colors mean sometimes. I'm starting to grasp
Well,
it though.
that's just you being bad again.
I
You have to
know.
just improve your skill level.
I'm just saying, like, some things are clear, but to people who are either new or bad, sometimes, you know, you still get a little confused. It takes some effort. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
Sometimes that a little extra effort's what you got to put in to be a winner. You know.
It's a lot of work.
Thanks,
though.
John Madden.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
If you look at the holes up the center, you got the center clearing out, the left guard moving up. You got a big gaping hole right there. Boom, running back right up the middle. You got an X. You got the
He's
safety
driving
coming in.
deep into that
Eight
big
the
gaping
box.
hole.
You know, when they're playing a 3-4 defense, that's a lot different because you got 4 linebackers, not 4 linemen. Now you're gonna fill up those holes a little faster. But if you got a 1 cut backer, he's gonna charge
Those
down
are
the
some
field.
big men trying to fit in
Big
those
time
holes.
plays out there. They're big. You know, yeah.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Good news, guys.
Yeah.
I was doing on my Blood Bowl stream the other day. I was doing all the sports commentator impressions. Like on Sunday Night Football, there's like this guy who used to play with the Bengals named Chris Collinsworth, and he's
He's
just
a
like this.
dickhole, by the way.
He's a really.
He's the worst.
I've heard
he's
he's a
the
super
worst.
dick.
He's the worst.
He's like you can tell he has like that whiskey voice. He's like, Aaron Rodgers out there throwing the ball around. You just look at him. This guy knows what he's doing. That's what he sounds like. And then there's Al Michaels next to him. He's like, oh, here comes the big time play. He's like Kermit the Frog. But they're still better than, what's his name, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Those guys are just like, God. Joe Buck has like less personality and enthusiasm than even me. And then
Here's
Troy
the
Aikman's
crazy
had
thing,
like
right
30
now,
concussions, so he doesn't know
if
what
my
he's talking
dad was listening, he'd be like, yeah, no, Crendor's right. Fuck those guys.
Yep.
Now I know that the caster hate that we get doing StarCraft is just ubiquitous across all sports. Everybody hates every commentator, apparently.
Yeah. That's
No,
just how
except
it
John
works.
Madden. He's a legend.
Yeah, except John Madden. Love John Madden.
My mom
John
tried
Madden.
to explain to the rest of the family why NASCAR is interesting. Deaf ears. Like my dad, my brother, and I all individually at different points throughout the day came in and were like, what the fuck is interesting about this that you watch it all day? And my mom was like, you don't understand. It's I can walk away and come back and we were like, yeah, and then literally the same thing is happening. They're still going in circles. I'll never understand NASCAR of all sports. Like,
I don't get
regardless
NASCAR
of
either.
commentary, I'm just like, I don't understand why
It's a tricky
racing is
one.
interesting.
Yeah, I guess it's very much like trying to explain why people watch esports to people that have no idea about esports. It's like it's a similar kind of alien thing. But NASCAR,
But there's development in esports, right? Like stuff changes. The only thing that changes in NASCAR is the cars are in a different order and they're still going in circles. They go in hundreds of circles. That's the game. I don't understand. I'll never get it.
I mean,
I'll never
I
get
live
it.
in a place that is fucking huge about NASCAR. You know, like, we are surrounded by big NASCAR tracks. You know, we live like half an hour away from Dale Earnhardt Industries, you know, which is the place where Dale Earnhardt Jr. works on all the cars and the tech and everything. And obviously Dale Earnhardt was a big deal around here. So I think it's actually race weekend coming fairly shortly. So I'm going to stay inside the fucking house because that is not a good time to be around. But I have never really understood it. I mean, I've been to like the dirt track, which was like near, I think the raceway in Concord or whatever, which we used to live in quite some time ago. And I've driven on the dirt track in a Packer car, which are these fucking really dangerous, horrible cars that they used to pack.
Car.
Yeah, they used it to pack the dirt down. So they run repeatedly around the track to pack the dirt down to prepare for the next dirt race or whatever. That was fun. It's even more fun because they don't even care about just ramming into you. So it's like the world's most dangerous bumper cars. But outside of that, you know, I watched the stuff at the dirt track, and that was kind of fun because people spin off, and there's really weird car designs. Like there's that one, sprint cars. Yeah, the ones that are kind of they're weighted on one side so that they can take the turns. So they look really, really weird, and they do things like they'll retrofit school buses to do races around it and all that sort of thing. That's fun. But the NASCAR aspect, I definitely struggle to understand the appeal. I've got to admit.
I feel like out of all of the motorsports, it's just not that interesting. I don't know.
I mean, I have a similar problem with F1. I've never really enjoyed Formula 1, but I can kind of appreciate it from a technical standpoint because the actual driving skill required to drive F1 is really, really high.
Right.
But I always, you know, what annoys me is I think what would be more interesting is if they took all the limits off of everything and just made it a car design contest where you could do the craziest shit to your car. Like NASCAR and F1 are so regulated that everyone almost drives exactly the same vehicle. So obviously it becomes like a driving skill contest, but I'd be much more interested if it was like, let's see what weird fucking car we can come up with and strap it with extremely dangerous
So it's
shit
like a
in order to
Pinewood
go
Derby?
fast.
The
Something like
Pinewood
that,
Derby.
yeah.
It's the Pinewood Derby.
The Mad Max Derby.
They need to get rid of
Oh,
like
yeah.
200 laps and make it like 20. That would
Please?
be cool.
That would be amazing. Just
Yeah.
do that.
One lap. Everyone starts at the exact same starting point. One lap.
Winner takes all.
Everybody
Winner
dies.
takes
It's like a horse race.
Everyone dies. Yeah.
It's like horse racing.
One lap.
Yeah.
That was the other thing that made me feel like a terrible person was when I was watching it, I was like, what happens when people, you know, like peel out and their car explodes? And my mom said, oh, well, they've basically rigged all of this stuff so that you almost can't get hurt regardless of what happens anymore. Like you're in a chamber that's made of metal. So even if your car is like spinning and doing whatever, like there's barely any danger involved anymore. And I was like, That also makes it less interesting, right?
Oh man, that's
I love how chat is like, TB just wants
wacky races.
which
Yeah,
is
I
totally
fucking
true.
do. Absolutely.
I want wacky races.
That
I
would
want
be
Muttley in
absolutely
there, get 'em
wonderful.
all. Oh my god.
And then people are like, no, okay, there's like differences in performance and everything. It's like, it's hard to appreciate from a very casual standpoint. Like, I'm very sure that people who are into F1 absolutely know the differences in performance between the different car manufacturers. But obviously they look the same, they sound the same, they basically all kind of race the same. So from a casual standpoint, it's really hard to figure that out.
Maybe they just need better announcers. You know?
You should apply.
F1 announcers are like legendary in Britain. Like, they're some of the most famous sports announcers are the F1 guys.
Yeah, Crendor.
I don't know
can't
that.
announce everything.
I just watch American, but oh my god, John Gruden. John Gruden is an amazing announcer. He like knows every player on a personal level. He's like, Charles Woodson, there's a guy. I sat down, had lunch with him the other day, talked about his family. He's got 3 kids. Guy can play safety. If you need a guy out there playing safety, he's your guy, you know. He worked in the coal mines for a couple of years back in 1987. This guy knows what he's doing.
As you know, that's a very that is classic color commentary right there, because the whole point of the color commentator is very much to kind of make you care about the people as people. And the play-by-play guy, of course, calls the plays, and then you've got your analyst who is all about the stats. But making each player like appear as an individual personality on a field of like 20+ people is super important. You know, it's really, really effective. It's exactly the same reason why, like in StarCraft, the first few minutes we'll break out anecdotes about the players and all that sort of thing, because it makes them, it gives them a face. You know, instead of them just being faceless players. You know, it's actually really important. So,
and then if you're a person who's watching and you have no idea who either person is, then suddenly you have sort of a basis to be like, oh, I hope that guy wins then.
Yeah, there's actually a lot about that. Like creating the story of the tournament is a big deal when it comes to casting in that regard. Like, if there is an underdog, you need to push the fact that there's an underdog, you know, because people start cheering for the underdog. You've got to describe the trials and tribulations they went through. You know, if someone's like maybe come back after an injury or had a medical condition, like push that, because, you know, that's a big deal. People feel sympathetic towards them. You know, it's about, I mean,
I was loving the
that's
color
like life.
commentator.
You know, that's all of life right there.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like
personal
storytelling.
interest stuff, human interest.
Yeah, it's just like storytelling. You're like getting them interested
Yep.
in the story.
I'll tell you what I
It's
don't
like-
understand. People that like NASCAR video games.
Oh yeah, that's stupid.
But then you actually get to drive.
Yeah, then you're the
Let's-
driver.
Yeah, but you drive around in circles.
Yeah, you drive.
It's-
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's not nearly as bad as watching people
Yeah.
drive in circles. You're not
You
even
just play like
involved.
you just play like Mario Kart.
Which, by the way, we need a Mario Kart-esque racing real life thing that happens. But
Yeah.
people fling shells at each other. It's Mario Kart, but real. They throw banana peels, they fling shells.
Yeah, why have
Just
they
run
not
over the banana peel like it's
Yeah,
Why
and
has a-
literally none of it does anything.
Why has a kart racing court
Absolutely.
not kind of done this with augmented reality or something like that yet? It does seem to. I mean, I think like the technology's there right now, where you could like go over pads, which would give you like a weapon, and maybe you've got a little display on your car that says, "Now you have this weapon," blah blah blah, and you use it, and the other car slows down or spins around a little bit. I would pay to race on a track like that.
They have toys like that. They're toys that exist.
Yeah, and I know they've done it with like RC cars and stuff, which I thought was really
Yeah.
great. If I was a kid when they came out, I'd be playing the shit out of that. I had a Scale X trick when I was younger. Did you get Scale X trick over here? They're
No.
Skellixistric?
slot cars. Slot cars.
No, not that
So-
I'm aware of.
So it was a big thing when I was growing up. The company was Scale X Trick, and they get licenses to make real cars. They'd be very small scale, and you'd build a track, and the cars had a little electrical contact that went in a groove in the track. And as a result, you could control the speed of the car. Like, you couldn't drive because they were all on a track, but you had to control the speed to make sure they didn't fly off. And people had these huge, like, tracks and everything. You could buy official tracks with their official layouts and the cars that would go on them. That was huge back then. Did that never get over here?
We probably had a Hot Wheels version of it. Hot Wheels
Yeah,
ruled
I was just
everything
gonna say,
here.
Hot Wheels,
There was,
maybe?
yeah.
We have
Yeah,
no
go on to people in
idea.
chat.
Ran
Yeah,
the
they do
show.
have slot cars, and apparently Scale X Trick is still a big deal. So that's cool. Yeah, I mean, it was like model trains, but you had like some interactivity because you could race people on them, and you had to alternate your speed to make sure you didn't fly off in the corners and all that sort of thing. That was neat. But damn, you know, if they had those like augmented reality sort of racing things where you got power-ups and could use them against other cars back then, I'd be all over that. That would be incredible.
Oh yeah, these things. I've seen these things.
Ah, it's
Oh,
all coming together.
all
Mm.
coming back to me
Cause it actually.
when I kiss you like this. What?
Okay. But yeah, NASCAR
All right,
games. I don't
so
understand you.
enough
I did get a demo of a NASCAR game a long time ago, and I used it solely just to smash into people. The one thing stock car racing games generally do pretty well is damage. So I just drive and try to kill everybody on the track. It was brilliant. It was the only way to make those games entertaining.
Sick, dude.
Shit, dude.
All right, so we're done with Blood Bowl, and we're probably done with Motorsports. Do we have... All right, let's... Dodger, what else have you been playing this week?
I played a bunch of Undertale. I think I'm almost done with it. I might have like a couple hours left. That's a really interesting game.
A lot of people are saying that. Why? Why is it interesting?
So-
We heard about it a couple of weeks ago, of course, but let's hear what you had to say.
Basically, the concept of it is you are the lead character in an RPG, and you have random battles with monsters, but you don't have to kill anyone in this game. So every time you are attacked by something, you have options of fight, act, and mercy. Fight is fighting, obviously, but acting is like possible conversation topics. So you can scan the monster in the same way that you would in any other RPG, and it gives you like their health points and whatever else. But then it'll also tell you something like, really wants to be a comedian, but his dad doesn't believe in him. Right? And then you can go into your conversation topics, and he'll at some point during the fight say like a pun. You can be like, that pun was really funny. And he's like, really? Wasn't it? And then he doesn't want to fight you anymore. Like,
That's kind of great.
It's really fun. Yeah. So you get different sorts of rewards for being purely a fighter or being very merciful. The whole concept of the game is that monsters have been forced underground, and you're a child who was kind of playing around in this area, and you fell into a hole, and where you dropped down is the ruins that the monsters have been staying in for years. And so you're trying to get back home, but you have to go through all of these ruins and this whole dungeon essentially in order to get back. And you meet all of these different characters and all of these different monsters that, you know, are nice to humans or not nice to humans, and things attacking you. And the thing that really shocked me about the game was that it also remembers everything that you do. So even if you don't save, like, this game does not allow you to save scum. If you kill something and you're like, shoot, I killed it, but I wanted to do like a full mercy route, right? If you were to start the game over, it would be like, no, you killed that guy. We remember you killed him. And you're like, what? And like, it like totally messes with you, right? It's a really, really interesting game. It has sort of, it feels sort of like a love letter to Earthbound. It has some off feelings for anybody who has played off. It's very bizarre. It's sort of a sweet game that has this creepy frosting layer on it, and I really, really enjoy it. And I got to give everybody crazy voices. Excellent.
It did look really interesting. I didn't have the chance to play it before I went on my trip, but I think it's gonna have to be on the list of stuff to play. It's not usually the sort of game that I go for. Like, there are so many lo-fi RPGs on Steam these days that I think it's really easy to overlook them. I think probably the last one that I played was years ago when I did Breath of Death and Cthulhu Saves the World. But that one looks worth trying. I know it's got a demo. Like, apparently you can even play the demo, and like, it's worth playing the demo and then the full game because it's got a bunch of different stuff that happens or something. So I'm interested.
It's really, really cool. Yeah, I would definitely say try it out. I think it's only like 6 hours, and I've played a little over 4 right now. So I assume I only have a couple hours left. But yeah, it's cool. I'm excited to see how it turns out in the end. Because I've hecked up a little bit in that game, even though I've been mostly merciful. I'm like, I wonder if this is gonna bite me in the butt. Like I like that feeling of not knowing how it's gonna turn out.
Games that have consequences. It's the same reason why I do want to play Until Dawn. I haven't got around to it yet, but
Me neither, and I refuse to watch anybody play it.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I haven't watched
Jesse.
anybody play it
I refuse to
either
watch
for that
anyone
reason.
play it because I don't want to know anything. Jesse and Gerard were talking about it at Ramen, and I was like, I need to immediately forget.
Shush. Yeah, I don't want to know.
Immediately
Thanks
forget
for
everything.
apologizing. Your one
Because
view
I
killed
didn't
it,
give-
Dodger.
I didn't give you a
Broke
view.
my
I
heart.
didn't give you a view.
Wow.
And I refuse to until I've played it. That's all I'm
Well,
saying.
Thank you.
I love the concept of that game that you can completely fail and still finish the game. Like, and there are consequences, and
That
the
sounds
replay
like the
value
game
comes from
for
that.
me.
Completely failed, but still beat it.
I'll just play it in the game like crashes, like error.
We've
It
never
just-
had anybody play it this badly.
It just seems like a better version of a David Cage game. Like some of the concepts that David Cage games do, it seems like it maybe does that better and presents it better and isn't fucking weird. You know, I'm good with that.
Mm.
How scary is it, Jesse? Like, I mean, obviously I'm not a big fan of horror games, but that game still interests me.
It's more
There's
like
a few jump
stressful,
scares
right?
here and there, but it's 99% of it is the stress involved with every one of your choices having to do with keeping those kids alive. Like, even things at the very beginning that you think are inconsequential, by the end can kill a kid. Like,
That's
the
great.
chain of events can really screw you over. So, yeah, I'm not going to give you the tip that we learned to
No, I don't
play
wanna
the
know.
game
Don't
the
wanna know.
best, but I will say that everything you do, everything, even the smallest crap, can eventually affect storylines. So be considerate in your choices.
Do you think that if someone was attentive enough, they could beat it the first time, or is trial and error a big factor?
We only lost one kid. And the reason we lost him is because we, like, I think because we goofed earlier in the game.
Right.
But we only lost one kid. And that was our first time playing. We had no clue. And we just, admittedly, in the first episode, we guessed what the ending would be.
Oh,
so
okay.
we went off that assumption. And that's, I think, how we kept everyone alive. Because we were like, oh, that's obviously the killer. And so we went through that assumption. And then as the game went on, we kind of like came up with new theories that were all right on the money. And so that's, I think, how we kept most of everyone alive. We had one kid die, and it was unfortunate, but whatever.
You play it
So,
trying to kill everyone.
Yeah, there's actually an achievement where you murder everyone.
Oh,
For doing it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And it's great. And the ways when you try to murder them, you don't get the payoff of the murder till later. Because a lot of the characters, the setup to their murder is like almost like that movie Final Destination, where it's like over the top ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
all right, so this wild contraption of shit
Yeah.
all came together and now they're dead. All right.
Which really
That's
is
what
the only reason to ever watch that series of movies, to see what the
Yeah.
fuck they came up with.
Like, how did this? Okay, sure.
I've seen every one of those, and I don't regret any of them. I don't. I'm sorry. It's amazing how creatively sickening the
I'm gonna
writers
lift
of that
some
series
weights.
are.
Next to these swords. Like, wait, what? Oh, we're gonna pump weights next to swords. Like, all right, sure.
This reminds me, I've been watching David Lynch movies. They're blowing my mind.
That has nothing to do with this
What's-
That
at
has
all.
nothing to do with
most,
anything.
most recent one.
David-
What's the most recent David Lynch movie you
Mulholland
watched?
Drive.
Never seen
You've
it.
seen? You've
Pitch-
never seen
pitch it.
Mulholland Drive?
No.
Okay. It's explaining a David Lynch movie is like God. All right, if
It's
you
like
want to
seeing the face of
experience
God, you couldn't ever explain it to anyone.
if you want to
Mhm.
experience
You're right on the
David
money.
Lynch, just YouTube Crazy Clown Party. Just YouTube Crazy
I
Clown
swear to
Party.
God, do that, and you'll be like, "What the shit am I watching?" Don't do it now, Dodger. Oh
I'm gonna
no!
do it during the break. I'll do it during
Oh,
the break.
Then yeah, we need to get your first reaction when you come back. So I want to see just the confusion and the fear on your face.
Oh no! You should get her to watch the rabbits. The rabbits.
Oh yeah,
sitcom.
rabbits. All right, you gotta see that and rabbits.
Is
Yeah,
David Lynch Crazy Clown Time official video.
Oh yeah, that's it.
That
That's
it?
the one. That's the one.
All right.
Nope. Nope. This is a bad idea.
Excellent idea. Well, Holland Drive is a good movie. It's just like, by the end of it, you're just like, wait, what? What? Yeah. Oh my God, Inland Empire. Yeah, Inland Empire is like his craziest shit. I went into that
That's
being
the
like,
one with the rabbits.
that's the rabbits. Yeah, I went
That's
into
the
that
one-
movie.
The rabbit sitcom.
Everyone was like, I am confused as shit. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to pay so much attention. I'm going to analyze this to death. And then, like, halfway through, I was like, I can't do it. I don't know what's going on. I can't.
I don't know what's happening. I can't do it.
It's insanity. But I love it. Genius
right.
insanity.
TotalBiscuit, how do you feel about David Lynch?
I feel it's a perfect time to go to a break because I have no idea what any of you are talking about and it has nothing to do with video games. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about what we've been playing this week. Our sponsor for the show this week is, of course, Squarespace. Check out squarespace.com/co-optional for a discount on your first month of service. And we're going to play an ad. After we are done, we will be right back with more discussion that may or may not be about video games. I don't even know at this point. You're watching the Corruptional Podcast. Do not go anywhere.
Ah, Crendor, you seem busy.
Yeah, I'm updating the podcast website.
Wait, we have a website?
Yeah, I put one together with Squarespace.
But you're a guest host. You're not even on the show all the time.
That's not what our website says.
Wait, what the hell is this? The Crendoptional Podcast. According to this, you've not only hosted every episode, but you've also co-hosted every episode.
Well, yeah, people kept telling me I was on the show all the time, so I just took their word at face value.
1. People lie on the internet all the time. 2. You replaced my face with yours. It's not even well photoshopped. I don't even wear that hat.
Look, it's like you said, you can't be anything without a website. It's like being a country without a flag. So I went to squarespace.com/cooptional and got 10% off my first order and built this site.
There's a list of topics here. Crendor's trip to IKEA. Crendor buys coffee. Crendor drinks coffee. Crendor tries to eat coffee. None of these are relevant to video games.
Well, we do only occasionally talk about video games.
It says here this entire show is a 3-year-long documentary about the life of an American hero.
What can I say? Squarespace inspired me to take some creative license.
You replaced Dodger's face too?
Yeah, I think it's an improvement.
I'm gonna have this taken down right now.
Good luck. Squarespace has rock-solid uptime and fantasy security. You'd need an army to get rid of it.
That can be arranged. Squarespace, create a website with no prior experience or factual podcast hosting required. For as little as $8 a month, you can even start a free trial without a credit card. Business, blogs, portfolios, stores, elaborate delusional lies. With intuitive and powerful functionality, the only limit is your capacity for ideas. Delusional ideas. Sign up today at squarespace.com/cooptional. Squarespace. Build it beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-Optional Podcast. And moving swiftly on from David Lynch. What else have you been
Dodger
playing?
got to experience David Lynch at the break. Dodger.
No.
What was your David Lynch experience like?
You guys built up Crazy Clown Time too much. Jesse literally begged me not to watch the video, citing it would change
Because it
my
was
life.
a waste of your time. No, I said don't do it. And you did it anyway.
You said nothing happened, but I beg to differ. Many things happened. Many things.
Not much happened in that video, man. Not much happened in that video. To be fair, I only got 4 minutes in.
That's
It's a 7-minute long video, but
Some people, they're up here on the consciousness level,
Right.
the
And then
pegs
Dodger
of the
down here.
consciousness
Dodger
ladder.
down
I'm way
Dodger's
down here, I guess. Yeah,
down
yeah.
here.
Uh-huh.
You need to climb that ladder a bit, Do some meditating.
open
Yeah,
yourself
open your
to
mind.
reality.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Really
I'll do some
feel.
meditating, and then I'll go watch Crazy Clown Time again.
Yeah.
hmm
There you go. And rabbits. Watch. Yeah. Watch.
Yes, I did enjoy the rabbits. What I saw of the rabbits was fun.
Yeah.
There's an adorable little rabbit in a dress. And then the ceiling caught fire?
Yeah.
Confusing.
The ceiling catches fire. It's actually there's a laugh track with the rabbits as well. It's very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Great. What else have you been playing this week, Dodger?
Pokemon Shuffle on my phone.
Oh, that's
I left
the...
my
Oh
phone
my
at
god,
home
I've
today.
been playing
Whoops.
Pokemon Shuffle.
Yeah. How many Pokemans do you have? I haven't gotten very far.
I'm on 72.
Okay, I think I have like 30 Pokemans. I keep
I
going
may
back.
have, like-
I keep refusing to leave until I've supered the level.
Yeah, or I'm on like 75, like the Pokemon number 75, but I've caught like 40, I think.
Yeah. So Pokemon Shuffle is a mobile game. It's a match 3. It's the match 3 mechanic where you literally replace two. So rather than it displacing stuff as you move it or it having to be next to each other, you can swap 2 tiles on the board, which took me a while to get. I was like, wait, how is this working? Oh, I see. They're actually replacing each other, and it doesn't matter the route that I use to like bring this thing over.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. You collect the little Pokemans, and they have all of their different powers and stuff, and it's great.
Yeah, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
I love this
You
game.
sound kind of apologetic for saying that.
Well, because you seem so unconvinced that it's worth your time to even hear about this game.
I don't care. Look, I'm playing it right now.
Yeah, there it is.
I went to go see it. I see it now. I want to play it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's filling the gap in my heart where Pokemon Go is gonna be in a year.
Oh, yes, that thing.
Fingers crossed. Oh, it's gonna change my life, guys. I'm gonna go on hikes and catch Pokemans. I'm gonna go into busy street corners and catch Pokemans. I can't wait.
Nintendo's forcing people to go outside. I have to wonder how well this is going to work.
Oh, it's gonna go terrible.
Comes with a little wristband, and it'll be like, there's a Pokemon nearby. And I'll
Like,
be
what happens? What happens if everybody goes to catch one and they start like fighting each other?
Fighting over it.
No,
Yeah.
I don't. I think that everybody can individually catch it on their own.
Oh.
Nope. I'm gonna become Team Rocket.
That's
I'm gonna
dumb.
steal kids' phones. Oh my God, Crendor, will you be my Meowth and we can go?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes,
Oh.
I'll be Jesse and dress up in a dress, and Dodger can be James.
Okay.
And, and Crendor, you're a Meowth, and we'll just go around and fucking steal phones from kids. Oh my God. Oh my God. And Crendor, at the end, you go, Meowth, that's right. And you take their phones and we leave.
Then we blast off again.
Oh my god.
I want that in the news. Like, Team Rocket strikes again. Yay.
Yay!
Yay,
I'm
crime.
That would be great. Look, we'll give it back.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
oh,
Nope.
sure you will. Okay.
Maybe.
No, hell no. We're keeping those Pokemon. I'm going to give them to, I don't know, however, the boss man at Rocket HQ.
TB.
Mhm. TB.
TB can be the shadowy figure who's like, bring me that Pikachu. And we'll be like,
Yeah.
sure thing, boss.
I'm not an
Yeah,
idiot. I don't want a fucking Pikachu. They're fucking useless and unreliable. Why would you ever want that?
Wow.
Because we could never get it. It's the one that always...
You
Pikachu's
can
the
get any
boy who
fucking
got away.
Pikachu's are common as
It's the
shit. You
boy
could
who
easily
lived.
pick up another Pikachu very, very easily.
Oh
No,
my
but
God,
this Pikachu's
crossover.
special.
No, it's not.
Voldemort
It's
is
rubbish.
after Harry Pikachu.
You see,
Rubbish.
there's like there's the Pikachus that dance now in costumes, like in Japan or
Yeah,
whatever.
there's so many great gifs of them like smashed up against windows and stuff. I love it. They look
There's the
terrifying.
one trying to fit in a door, and he's just like,
Yeah, he's just like and the parade of them where there's like 10 of them
Yeah.
just marching like this. It's so terrifying. I love it.
oh, I love it.
That's
Amazing.
horrific.
I need it.
You know,
Meow.
speaking
That's
of
right.
match
Meow.
3,
That's
I
right.
actually, weirdly enough, played like 2 match 3-esque games this week.
Go on.
The first one is something I mentioned 2 weeks ago and never really got a chance to talk about, which is Puzzlecraft 2. Which is
Oh, right.
less of a match 3 game, but when Puzzlecraft first came out, I was really interested in it because it was like, okay, so you've got to match things together. It's not really match 3 per se, it doesn't really work the same way, but it's about, hey, you draw a line of the same resource and you collect the resource, but use the resource to like build up your town and construct buildings and unlock different ways of acquiring resources. So like you open the mine and then there's like a mine game which you match stuff, and each of the different games kind of has a slightly different rule set. You start off with the farm and it's like, okay, this is grass. If you pick up a bunch of grass, you bale hay together. You can use hay to build cottages, which give you workers. The workers, like, reduce the number of things you have to match in order to get a resource, and all that sort of thing. And it got more and more complicated. I used to play it on the plane because it was very relaxing. And Puzzlecraft 2 sort of does the same sort of thing, but instead of just owning a village, you have to try and own an entire kingdom and establish settlements all over the place. So there's different games
I like
and
it.
all that sort of thing. So the gameplay itself is just fine. Like, it's very, very similar to the first one with a few little bells and whistles added on. So I was fine with that. That was kind of what I was looking for with it. But there is one thing that I am going to hold them accountable for. With a lot of these sequels, it's often kind of risky that the monetization goes to hell. And Puzzlecraft's monetization originally was pretty fair. Like, I don't recall ever spending any money on it, and I played like 30, 40 hours of it, so it was fine. This time around, they kind of pester you more for it. Like, early on in the game, they're pesting like, do you want to buy this bundle that's $50? Like, no, I fucking don't. All I'm doing is playing match 3. Why would I ever want to do that thing? But it gets worse. So without knowing, I constructed this building. It's like, oh, this building will allow you to receive magical messages from afar or whatever. So I build the building, and there's a mission to build this building, so it gives you a reward for it. That building, you click that building, and it plays ads for you. Ads.
Yeah.
And if you play the ads, then you end up, like, you can earn, like, the little sort of currency, which is magic runes, which can be used to either accelerate different things or to buy special tools, which can, like, gather all sorts of things at once. The game literally had me spend resources to construct a building that would play ads to me. And it didn't tell me that it was going to play ads to me until I built it. It is a fucker.
No.
That is the fucking...
sucks.
That is evil. That is the worst thing I've ever seen. I have never seen a game do that.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, that was beyond a joke. And you can't get rid of the building afterwards either. It's just fucking there all the time.
No.
You end up accidentally fucking pressing on it. It was... Oh, I mean, I understand, like, that a lot of games over recent years have gone with this model where it's like, yeah, you know, if you want a premium currency, you can buy it, but, you know, obviously if you're like a younger person or you don't want to spend any money, watch an ad and we'll give you a small amount of currency.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad idea in and of itself. But generally speaking, I have never, ever had a situation where a game has tricked me into constructing a building to watch ads. That is a next level dickery. That is the arch necromancer of dickery. I cannot comprehend the sheer amount of evil intent behind that. So that was...
A lot of dickery.
It was, yeah.
What
It was like,
dickery?
indeed.
Dickery, dog.
So fuck you, EA and Chilingo, for that. That was a fucking piece of shit. I'm still playing the game because it's good and it's relaxing, and you always make progress on it. So that's pretty good. Every time you're doing one of the sort of match 3 games, you're always gaining resources. So you'll be able to construct the next building and level up to the next thing and unlock the next series of games and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, it's still pretty neat. The other one that I played, which I am somewhat less of a fan of, is Star Trek: The Wrath of Gems. Which is the stupidest fucking name for a thing ever. So, it's basically Star Trek Puzzle Quest. Not by the same company as Puzzle Quest, but it's exactly the same principle. And you're like having battles.
Are you like a captain? And
Yeah.
you're trying to...
Yeah, and you can get, like, famous crew members, like I have Data and Worf, and they give you different benefits and skill sets and shit, and you can get different ships. But
Wait,
I have a
what
problem.
went wrong?
What went wrong is they don't know they have no idea what Star Trek is. Like, this company doesn't have a fucking clue. I'm convinced of it. So, the first thing that tipped me off is that they called the space dock the Star Dock.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the old Star Dock.
No.
The old startup.
No.
The old Star Dock.
At no point in Star Trek has it ever been called the Star Dock. It is the fucking space dock. It has always been the space dock. That is bullshit, and anyone that claims otherwise has never watched an episode of Star Trek. So fuck those guys. And all the sounds are wrong. All of them. All the fucking sounds are wrong. So, like, you know, the good old phaser and photon torpedo sounds, you'd expect them to... I mean, they're pretty standard. Like, why would you not use anything else? They all sound wrong. Completely fucking wrong. Not to mention, the Enterprise D has quantum torpedoes. Bullshit! It never had quantum fucking torpedoes. at all. That has never happened. It had photon torpedo launchers. Quantums weren't invented till later. And the Enterprise D crashed into a fucking planet after exploding before it could be retrofitted with that. That is bullshit and not canon.
I feel like you're expecting a lot from a match 3 game.
It's not hard to get it right.
He just wants consistency and information.
It's not hard to get it
I'm gonna
fucking
just
right.
Timestamp this tirade, and next time I go on a rant that you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm just gonna send you back to this. Make you watch this again.
I have absolutely
Highlight
no
it
doubt.
and leave it unlisted. And
The
then
more I
just-
play this game, the more fucking mistakes there are going to be in terms of canon, and I'm not okay with that. I'm sorry. It's not that hard to get it right, really. All this stuff is written down. It's pretty fucking clear. Don't make shit up. You don't need to make shit up. Who do you think's going to play your game? Exactly. Insufferable nerds. They are going to know. They will know. If you try and pull this. We know you're pretending. We know you didn't do your research. It's the same thing when they do that with fucking 40k.
The real sounds, and you could buy them for $5 if you'd like.
Oh, if they pull
like
that
the
shit,
original.
oh my god. I will throw them down the deepest black hole. Oh, I'm sorry, quantum singularity. Assholes.
Can I, sorry, going back to Pokemon Shuffle, Crendor, can I ask, do you feel like the further you get into the game, the more they kind of force you to buy Master Balls?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's been my worry. The further I've gotten into the game, the more I'm like, I did really good that time, and yet my potential to catch this Pokemon is still at 16%. Bullshit. It's like, you
Yeah.
want to buy a Master Ball? And I'm like, you, Pokemon Shuffle.
They had a version on the 3DS which had none of those microtransactions in it, right? So that's recent bullshit, yeah?
Yeah. It's Pokemon Shuffle 3DS. I think it's like the same thing, too. Yeah,
Like-
it's like the exact same game.
Except they made it free to play and put a bunch of bullshit microtransactions in it, rather than
Yeah.
just make you
I
pay
mean,
for it.
Like,
Yeah.
the game gives you coins as you play, but yeah, I
Yeah,
feel
it
like
gives you
if they
stuff.
made me buy many more Master Balls, I'd be like, suddenly I have no coins.
That's
and
deliberate.
I can't. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they slowly ramp it up as well. It's never a good idea to front load that stuff. It's actually why I think Puzzlecraft 2 did a bad fucking job of it. Because, pestering you 20 minutes into the game, it's like, hey, buy $50 fucking of stuff. No. If you hit me with that 10 hours in, I'm more likely to do it. Because I'm committed at that point, and I'm like, you know what, yeah, we could hurry this along a little bit. I want to go to the next thing. So, apparently it also had microtransactions on 3DS. I don't know just how... Yeah, apparently they weren't as expensive and weren't as bad, but they did have them. Interesting. Yeah, the whole, totally optional thing, by the way, let's throw away this idea of totally optional, because a lot of these games are designed in such a way that, yes, it is optional, but it's not optimal. That's the difference. Like, if you have a ton of fucking time to waste and you're willing to go through a bunch of repetitive grinding bullshit, then sure, you can absolutely get further in the game. But the game is deliberately designed to test your patience. And when it comes to mobile games, they're masters at that. Masters at it. Compared to stuff on PC, mobile games are years ahead of exploitative business models.
Yeah, it's true.
Evil bastards.
But it's fun.
But it is fun because it's match 3, and for I still
Some
don't
reason.
understand what it is about match 3
I don't know.
that just gets in your brain, and you're like, I want to play more.
Oh my god, just having a bunch of stuff fall down and then continuing to match even though you didn't do anything is the most
so
satisfying thing in the fucking
satisfying.
universe. Oh god. I don't even know why it is, but it's just really, really satisfying.
Just all started with Tetris. Now they've pumped Tetris full of steroids and sugar and addictive shit.
I think Bejeweled was one of the first that really tapped into that in terms of really casual games,
I remember I used to play it on MSN Games. They
Yeah,
had,
Oh,
me
wow.
too.
The Zone, I think it was called at that
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
I love that.
Oh my
I'd just
gosh.
be I'm gonna play Bejeweled.
And it's it's so interesting to me how Match 3 became a genre, but simultaneously became a mechanic that took over other genres. Puzzle Quest was maybe the first big successful example of that. It's we're going to take a sort of RPG but our battle system is match 3. And then a bunch of other games have done that. You know,
Honey
it's like,
Pop.
yes, you know,
Yeah,
dating
Honey
game with match 3 mechanics.
Sure.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
You know, sort of combat games. It's
Excellent
easy to
game.
make a battle system using that. And how you could, there's that one that you can play free on the StarCraft arcade. Basically, you play a game of StarCraft. It's called Star Dueled, and you match 3 as fast as you can to earn resources to spawn units. And it's like your team versus the enemy team on kind of a lane. That's really, really addictive. That is seriously compelling stuff. Like, you can do it with pretty much anything. That's the crazy thing about it. And you know what? I don't even hate that they're doing that. Obviously, there's a lot of match 3 games. Some people got kind of riled that I was covering quite a few match 3 games. Like, why the fuck do you keep doing this? Like, it's a mechanic. Like, match 3 is it's a game mechanic that supports everything else. It's not about the match 3 gameplay. It's about what is built around that's interesting to me.
How does it utilize it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I kind of like them.
I've started to feel that way about QTEs too. Like, I've got nothing against QTEs if you're able to make it
Doing well.
make sense in your game. Yeah.
Oh man, the best QTE. Well, there were 2 games that did the best fucking QTEs in the universe. One was Ninja Blade, which was the game that From made before Demon Souls. And it's a kind of spectacle fighter where you play as a ninja, but it's got some of the most fucking bizarre, awesome QTEs ever. Like, there was one section where you do a QTE to jump onto a missile, you surf on the missile, redirect the missile right into the fucking helicopter that fired it. Like, the first boss fight, there's a QTE which lets you jump on this giant wrecking ball, hit it with your sword so fucking hard that it flies all the way around, and you're riding it at this time, by the way, and destroys this giant spider.
I believe you
It's
mean
the best.
Asuras Wrath is the best.
That was my second one.
was
Asuras Wrath
I was
is
gonna
the
say
best
Asuras
QTE game
Wrath had
ever.
a lot of that too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asuras Wrath it's not all that. Some people think that Asuras Wrath is nothing but QTEs. That's really not true.
Yeah, there's bits where you're running around actually fighting, but
Oh wow,
those aren't the
Cry
fun
started
parts.
playing it a few days ago. Oh, I
Yeah,
should watch
yeah.
him play it. I remember streaming it
Do
years
that.
ago.
You
That
won't
game is
be nearly as good as you need in order to be good at that game. Sorry, Cry. It's a hard game, man.
it's amazing though. Like, they up the ante all the time in that game, constantly. And that is absolutely amazing to watch. Like, the
All
art
you need
style
to
for that
know
game, the
is-
general design is spot on.
The DLC that pits Asura versus Ryu from Street Fighter on the moon is the
Yes.
coolest fucking thing in the world. It's the best. It's ridiculous.
Coolest thing
Yeah.
in the world. The entire world.
The entire world. It's amazing. It's the best crossover there ever was. It's ridiculous. They
Well, I
punch
mean,
they punch each other through the moon and shit. It's great.
one of the
great.
first QTEs in that game after the huge like initial big battle is you fight someone with a hand the size of a planet. In
Yeah,
fact, I could
slams
actually
his
try
hand- He has it. His hand goes like, "Grrr," and he blocks it, and then you have to like punch up at his hand, and he's like, oh, and his hand like it's amazing. There's a point in the game where you punch a man through the earth,
Yes.
and he explodes out the other side. It's great. What a great game.
Oh man, it's absolutely amazing. You don't understand. Like, they take it to such ridiculous extremes. Like, it's what would happen if someone was trying to make like some weird anime battle thing that was 6 hours long and nothing but full of ridiculous, let's see if we can top this moments.
Yes.
I'm trying to find the specific part of this video, which
where
I
he
think
gets
shows
stabbed
it.
with a sword through the earth. That's a good one.
I'll look for the one versus Wizen, I think, is the one where he has like a hand the size of a planet.
Oh yeah, I see it on the screen now where he's huge right now, but he hasn't become like.
Oh, he's nowhere
Size
near
of
as
the
big
planet
as he
big.
actually is. Yeah.
You have to wait until later on when he gets like super planet big, and then he's like, "Oh my god!" and you're like, "Bitch, you're just the first boss." It's great.
Shit, dude.
Yeah, he holds up. It's a planet-sized hand and this giant finger, and the finger like comes down through the sky and is like burning up on entry like a meteor. And he fucking holds onto it, and he just literally punches through the guy's giant planet-sized fist. It's insane. I mean, what you're seeing on screen right now is minor compared to this fucking craziness of Asuras Wrath. And that game is only good for one playthrough, but if you can pick that game up cheap, you absolutely need to play it. It is insane. Oh, he's going to space. There we go. He's now flying into space. This is wonderful. The guy punched him into orbit.
Every time I see scenes from this game, I'm like, I need to play this one day.
It is too
This looks too
good.
great.
Again, I just want to point out
He's in
that
space now.
download the DLC where Ryu shows up to challenge Asura, and they fight, and the fight becomes so passionate and over-the-top Dragon Ball Z that midway through the fight, it switches then to Street Fighter style fighting. Then, once Asura loses that fight, because he clearly can't beat him, he's like, "Ugh!" And then he punches him so hard they fly to the moon and then battle on the moon.
Yep.
It is so ridiculous. And they're just destroying the moon. And they're like, fuck it, I don't even care. They're just going at it. It's like,
Oh, it's
the best thing
happening.
I've ever
I've finally got to the bit in the video where he's growing planet-sized.
great.
Oh,
It's a
yes.
fanta-
It's
a
too
fantastic
good. It's too fucking good. Yeah, the thing is that game is not just a QTE game. There's a lot of QTEs in it, but there's like two other things which happen. There's like a kind of Panzer Dragoon-esque sort of res sort of style rail shooter, and there's a basic sort of brawler that's in there as well. Neither of them are particularly great. Like, the best stuff is the QTE craziness that's going on, but that game, the fact that game even got fucking made blows my mind.
It is next level ridiculous into like a mythology that I had no clue even existed. Like with the Brahma and like I knew it existed, but I didn't
is
like
it
know
Hindu?
it.
Is it based on Hinduism or is it's Hinduism, right?
Yeah. And so it talks like I didn't realize how like almost close to it actually was. I thought it was just a lot of gibberish. A lot of like the ancient like Hindu texts do have like flying fortresses and like crazy battleships and shit. And I was like, that's fucking awesome. So I need to go read that stuff because it seems legit
Here it
cool. I was
goes.
like,
It's
whoa.
too good.
Yeah, they have like all sorts of like battle cruisers and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Let me do.
There's like a creature so large it literally breaks out of a planet and breaks the planet in half in the process. He is now fighting the giant finger. It's too good.
Oh, his little finger's burning.
It is DBZ. Like, the entire fucking planet is now burning up. It's so good.
Dude, it's almost like Hinduism started Dragon Ball Z, man.
Sure,
Yeah,
why
no,
not?
I'm looking at it right now. Like, this shit's next level bonkers. I love it. Yeah, it's Vedic and Puranic texts in Hindu mythology with giants and demons and airships and crazy ass shit. And they had
my
sky
God.
battles over ancient India. Look, I guarantee if I went online right now and typed in ancient aliens Hindu mythology, I could find 1,200 episodes. It makes perfect sense. It does. I'm down for that.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Alien.
Oh yeah, hit that circle button. Oh, it's
Then you get enough flashbacks where he's like, "No, my daughter and my wife. No,
yeah.
I've
There's a
got
lot
to
of
kill
that.
everyone."
You bastards! Quick, hit the upper sticks.
Yeah,
Gotta
you
lift the
betrayed me.
planet-sized god.
Because my daughter is a priestess, and now I've got to kill you all. And then there's a magic spider that talks to you when you die. And he's like, "Oh, Asura, you're horrible.
Yeah, he does.
You've got to climb the pillar if you want to get back to the land of the living." It's like, "Shut up, spider." And Asura doesn't even talk to him. Asura's just like, the entire time. It's great. It's great. He's like, "I'll have my revenge." love
I
that
heard
game.
like the
I love
true
it.
ending for that game is in the DLC though, which was a super
Yes.
dick move at the
You
time.
have to buy the DLC to get the true ending.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
Oh, that sucks.
Capcom. You know, as they make great games, but Capcom are like they're up there in terms of pure evil when it comes to this sort of thing.
Wait, you have to fight Ryu on the moon to get
No.
the true
No, that's a
ending?
different
That's a
DLC.
Different DLC.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
true ending. What
Yeah.
happens is
Checking.
the game the game ends and it's
Okay,
like
that's
a
quite enough of
weird
that.
ending where it's like, what the fuck? And it's not like, it isn't a satisfying ending. So they released a DLC that gives you a different ending that is, I would say, better. The problem is it's a DLC, so you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
If you want to feel good about the ending, you have to pay for the ending.
Ooh.
I've got to
Also,
play this
he
again.
explodes a man. I like how chat's just getting to the part where he
Where
explodes
he's-
a god.
Yeah, punching the fucking guy. Yeah, it's. Oh my.
Great. It's a great game. It gives no shit about anything. It's like, look, we wanted him to have a bunch of arms, then have those arms ripped off, and then replaced with rock arms, and then there's a scene. Look, all you need to know is, in this game, there is a series of scenes. Also, it's done in like episodes, like anime episodes.
Yeah, it
so
is.
there's a cutoff point in the
It's
thing.
got
and
like
it goes
credits.
"Doo!" Yeah. Oh yeah.
It has it has a different title screen per episode, if I recall correctly, as well, doesn't it? It's crazy. Like
And
it
does,
changes
like,
the game's title
previously
screen.
on. You might have just played something 2 minutes ago, and it's like, now in the coming episode, here's what's gonna happen. You're like, what the shit? But
It's really unique.
literally, there's a moment in the game where you meet your former master, and you know you have to fight him. But first, we're gonna go to a hot tub and like play around with sexy chicks. And like, there's a mini game. You have to splash water on girls, and you get
Yeah,
an
it's a bit
achievement for
weird.
staring at a girl's boobs for too long, right? And so like, there's all these things that happen. And then immediately after that moment, he's like, all right, now that we've done that, let's fight. And you fight for like 25 fucking minutes on Earth, on the moon. He sticks a sword, he shoves you through the planet Earth, out the crust on the other side. Like, it's so, and you're just like, I have to fight my old master. Oh no. But it's so, he's like, I can't describe it to you. There's no way to describe this game. You just have to play it. It's so
You really
fucking
do.
crazy.
You really, truly do. It's just.
There's
nothing like it.
Batch 3.
Yes, not a match 3 game. No. A lot of QTEs in that game, but fucking unbelievable. And, you know, it actually, I stumbled across, because I never got around to watching this video. I'm not a huge fan of the Game Theory channel, but I like the concept of it. Like, I'm sorry, Matt Pat, I just like.
I don't like
your,
those guys. What
your voice,
assholes.
there's something about your voice that I just don't dig. You know, not your fault. But the stuff that he writes is really kind of interesting. And I was watching the SMITE one about the, are these goddesses too sexy, basically. And he went into a good amount of detail showing like the historical context of everything. But regardless, it was like Kali, I think, in SMITE that eventually got her entire design changed because of a lot of like media outcry and shit. And now she's nothing like the actual goddess in any way. She
Right.
used to have like a moveset that was all very much rooted in proper Hindu mythology. She actually used to very much look like, I mean, she was more reasonably dressed in the game than she is in most artistic depictions and all that sort of thing. And it seemed like they made the changes that they made to Kali. I don't know if this is still true. Maybe they reverted it back because that video is quite old. The changes they made to her made her look like some kind of Norse god, like a Valkyrie, which was completely stupid and pointless because obviously she's a Hindu goddess. And it made me a little annoyed that when games try and tackle really interesting mythology that like the West doesn't really deal with all that often, like, say, Hindu mythology, that they end up just getting in trouble and having to dumb their content down or sanitize it because people just get mad about it. And it's like there are
Yeah, it
so
looks like
many
they put her in a
awesome
skirt and shit.
yeah, there are so many awesome possibilities with that. And I feel like that a lot of games companies are just going to be scared as a result of that nonsense.
Yeah, it appears that there's two types of skins. There's the one that you can see like in Matt Pat's video. It's like, is this okay? And like points directly at her boobs. So
well, I mean,
good on
that was a
you.
default skin, yeah.
Yeah, so
back
good,
in the
good on
day.
you, Maddie. You nailed that thumbnail. And then there's other ones where now she's in sort of like a little mini skirt deal with her boobs covered up, that kind of thing. So they definitely, and she lost. So in one skin she has a head and she's holding like crazy ashes and shit, and then the other one she has lost all that stuff. So I guess they decided to change
apparently, like, yeah, I'm looking at the image of it now, and it's like she now looks nothing like a Hindu goddess, essentially. Like, the weird thing about that, and they even changed the names of all of her abilities, because I was watching that video and they were talking about the story of her apparently like drinking up the. It was a battle of something description in Hindu mythology where she drank the blood of this god, and these blood drops were forming clones of him. So she drank up all the blood to stop that from happening, so that they could win the battle. And like one of her abilities referred to that in a big way. And now it's all like the abilities barely refer to her mythology at all. Which it's a super disappointing situation where it seemed like she ended up getting sanitized as a result of
super sanitized. I'm looking at, so there's a clip that I'm watching where she like literally like does sexy like tongue licking at that skull she has in her hand, right? And like there's crazy blood everywhere.
Yeah, but that has basis in the Hindu mythology. That's like that's a part of a Kali story.
Has none of that, yeah.
Yeah, so they've taken a lot of that away, which I think is really, really disappointing. So yeah, thanks to those that decided to get offended after not knowing a fucking thing about the mythology there. Congratulations, you've saved the world from virtual boobs. Well done. Well done.
You did it, Reddit.
Yeah, congratulations.
Reddit.
I have so many David Lynch tabs now.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Didn't want any of this. Why does this happen to me?
Invest in it.
Ah.
Become one with it.
So what else have we been playing? Anyone want to
I'm tapped out.
You tapped out? Anyone else?
I was playing Mario Maker.
Okay.
Are you actually playing it?
Mainly just unlocking things.
I heard about that. The unlock system seems fucking stupid for a game where you're supposed to be creating things, not having access to everything. Are you finding that annoying?
To use what you have. Like it's one of those things where like, we don't want to give you everything right away because we want you to learn the basics.
Yeah.
So it's like most Nintendo games, designed for young children of mind, but played by adults.
Yeah, so I like log on every day and then I'm just like spam blocks for like a few minutes, and then you unlock it and it's like the next thing comes tomorrow. However, I think they did patch it, so now you can just keep doing that over and over and it just unlocks it all. So yeah.
Yep. You can cheat your way through it now.
Yeah, so I've been playing that and playing people's levels, and that's pretty fun. I've been liking that.
I've seen some really great levels. There's one that Gerard was talking about that I haven't played yet that is like, it's a choose your own adventure.
Whoa.
And so there's different things that happen as you go through it. And one's like, would you kill your friends in order to achieve your goals? And if you say yes, a little Yoshi is like off in the distance and all the blocks turn to coins and he falls to his death as you like have to make it through the level. It's pretty great.
What? That's amazing.
Yeah. And like that's one way that you can do it. I think that's cool. There's another one that I truly believe maybe my favorite one and like the sickest, most disturbing way ever, where it's a map called My Wife. And when you go to it, it literally is a straight map and all it says is in coins. It says, my wife left me. And that's the level. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah, that's so sad.
Yeah, there's a bunch of that. There's a bunch of racist ones up there as well. Apparently, they're like doing a really bad job of moderating. Like people making swash stickers and coins, and
it's almost like we're on the internet.
Yeah. Weird. It's the best. It shows you a lot about the game. That the most popular ones are the ones where you don't do anything. There's a lot of maps where it's like auto maps and it does it by itself, and so you like stand on a platform or something, and the map goes by itself and you only have to jump off at the end, and sometimes you don't have to jump off, and if you do stuff you screw it up and you die.
Okay.
Yeah, I love those levels. They're so cool. It's literally just don't touch anything.
That's one of the levels.
The level do it. Yeah.
Don't touch anything is the name of a level that someone made, and you just sit there and it's amazing to look at.
It's so cool.
Yeah, and you get why it's popular because of all that like technical stuff behind the scenes that made it work, but it also you do nothing. Like you're just like,
yeah, it's like a roller coaster.
Yeah. It's like a deadly roller coaster.
Yeah.
I guess roller coasters are already deadly. They're just, trying not to let you
the
actually
disbelief
die.
that we won't fly off the damn things. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's still that chance.
I played a game that is in like super alpha called Late Night Shop. What the hell is it called? Late Night Shop.
Shopping.
Okay.
All right, so this is a game where for some reason you're just in a mall after closing, and the mannequins have come to life, and the mannequins act like the angels from Doctor Who,
Okay.
where if you stare at them, they don't move, but if you
Right.
turn away or you turn a corner, or in this game your character actually blinks, so even if you blink, they move forward, and they're actively coming after you.
Oh, it's like SCP.
Yes. And so what happens is you need to watch them, but also at the same time, if you turn a corner and then you go back, they're like right at that corner, like, what up, bitch? And so, yeah, it's insane. I don't think it's like ready for prime time yet, but it is definitely not a pleasant experience. It's really scary. You're like, nope, fuck this shit. It is pretty awful. But,
Dog.
yeah,
The
it's definitely
Flock
like,
does
it's a,
that. Admittedly, that's also a terrible video game, but
it's a really like unsettling experience because they're all after you, and like you just like, I'm just gonna keep moving then, but you don't want to turn your back and move, so you have to keep moving backwards away from them while staring at them, and then you hit a wall, you're like, oh, I have to turn, so you slowly turn, and for a brief second they're like pop, right in front of you, you're like, nope. So I had fun with that. I also played Assault Android Cactus.
Yeah,
I
that
played
game's
that
so fun.
years ago. Yeah.
I love that game. We played until I think the last level before we had to quit, but that's a ton of fun. That game's
Who
great.
did you main? Who was your main android?
Okay, for obvious reasons, I mained Coral because Coral was hilarious, but a lot of the levels, having a shotgun is not the most wonderful thing in the world. So
Wrong
I
button.
switched.
Wow.
I switched to Cactus. I played Cactus a lot, and then at the very end, I played the girl who has the little spinner thing, whatever that like.
Aubergine.
You play her plus that. Fuck that shit. That is too difficult for me. I can't do it. I can't do it to save my life. So you're basically
I
playing
love
two
it.
characters at once. I can't even handle it.
Oh,
I was
she
like,
was my
nope.
favorite character. She was my favorite to play.
I hated it. So I went back to Cactus and then just destroyed. And then the very last boss that we fought, we kept running out of time. So the basis is if you die or you're too slow, your battery runs out and you just lose the level. And so we kept the last boss that we fought. We could not beat this dude to save our lives. And so I was like, all right, we're going ham. You get the chick who has the rockets. I'll get the chick who has the shotgun, and we'll just go nuts. And we went back in there, and I was like, Coral, we gotta kill her. And I just hold down the shotgun blast button and just spam that shit and walk around the boss, and it worked. The life dropped so fast. I was like, it's a shame the shotgun's super powerful, but like, you have to be in front of enemies. They're just spamming little bubs at you the entire time. And I was like,
Right.
yeah, it's a great game. It's actually really fun. So shout out to Assault Android Cactus. They're all named after plants and shit.
Yeah, it's cute. Which one is the super nerdy?
Holly
Android.
with the glasses.
Yeah, Holly, she's cute.
Yeah, Holly. Yes, Holly. And I was going to tell a story, but totally unimportant, so I won't.
Because there's like
Yeah, no.
10 different 10 different androids or something like that. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah, I think our favorite android's the one that doesn't have a skin and is just like the base android, and she's obviously crazy.
She's so cute.
And her random scene is just her picking her nose. She's like, whenever she gets the crown, she's like, King of the Castle! And she's very literal about all of her things, so when she does like the time stop, she goes, blue colors, or whatever the fuck she says. Like, she's like, blue! And then the screen just goes blue, and it's like, yeah. She's great. Yeah, that game's fantastic. It's definitely a game that I would say pick up, play with your friends.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's really fun.
Coral.
Yeah, there's a
Coral.
little girl named Coral.
Question, Jesse. You mentioned something on Twitter recently about Overwatch. Did you have a chance to play it again recently?
I did. I went last Thursday and played the new characters they just announced today.
I cracked your code, Jesse.
Did you? Did you figure it out?
I cracked
spelled
the
heroes wrong?
code.
So they introduced Roadhog and Junkrat, I believe their names. And so if you have the poster, I'm looking at it now. If you have the poster, Roadhog is the big dude with the like hog gas mask that they have on there. So the only one not announced in that poster now is Samurai Dude. Anyway, these 2 new characters are part of a different faction. So Blizzard wants to make factions for their game that you don't actually get to play in these factions. I guess they
Oh
just
my
want
god,
the
they
story
have
to
concussion.
exist.
I'm sorry, I'm just watching the Junkrat trailer. It has a concussion jump.
Yes. So
That's kind of great.
like basically these guys are from Australia, and in this world, Australia is basically Mad Max. So these guys are criminals and they're sort of wacky and they work together. And what it is that Roadhog has the ability to have a hook, so he's like Stitches and he can pull people out of the air. He has a not a shotgun, but like a turrety gun, like chain, whatever that thing's called, where you crank it, and like a Gatling gun kind of deal.
Yeah.
But it only has 4 shots, but they're 4 super powerful shots. And so his main attack is he goes blop, 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 or he has an ult which fires it out and then it explodes at a distance. So you basically can shoot it through a door, and if people are hiding around the other side of the door, it'll explode in their face, which is pretty great. And then he has, since he's a tank, but he's a tank without any like damage mitigation. So he has 600 life, but he can't do anything about it. So his other ability is he has 300 health that he just gets back instantly. And it's like a little like gas mask tank, and he puts it in, it charges up for 300 health. So that's how he keeps fighting. And then his ultimate ability is he just cranks the Gatling gun like crazy. Like, brrr. And so if you get in a hallway, there's no way you can avoid that. So use it when the guys are like trying to come through like a corridor or something, you'll wreck them. Junkrat is basically
I like how you talked about the exact wrong one. I just finished the
I can't see
Junkrat
what's on the
trailer,
screen.
and now you're onto that, and now I'm showing the Roadhog one. God damn it,
Well,
Jesse.
that's fine. I wasn't paying attention. So Junkrat is a character who all of his abilities are based around explosions and shit, except for the one where he places down a trap. The trap keeps you still for 3 seconds, and he has a landmine that he can place that he can jump off of, or he can send people literally flying off the map. His main is a grenade launcher, and basically, I think this is the best. When he dies, he just drops all his grenades on the ground. So if you're near him, you can explode and die too. Then his ultimate is he has a tire on his back for some reason. Don't ask me why. It's Mad Max world. And he pulls it off and revs up the tire, and then you control the tire as it flies through the map, and if it hits someone, they instantly die. So it's pretty great. They came up with 2 like really wacky characters that they added to the world, because they were saying that all the characters they have so far in context are pretty serious. Like, even though they're like a monkey and stuff, they're like, you know, these are the Overwatch heroes. And then there's a few bad guys, like they formed a new like evil group. They're like, we just wanted some crazy ass characters, so we have Mad Maxy characters, and they're from Australia. And I was like, all right, they're fun. They added a lot of new stuff. They added a lot of changes to characters that already exist. I am now totally in love with, oh my god, what is that character's name? Zenyatta Yamato. Hold on, Overwatch.
I'm totally in love with this character who I'm so in love with that I can't remember the goddamn name of.
So he's the guy, Zenyatta is the guy who is the robot who like is meditating, and he has these orbs.
Oh yeah, that guy.
That he can, one orb can heal and one orb can debuff the enemy. And then he just shoots like pew, 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 like little orbs at guys. Like that's his main attack too. And then his ultimate is that he becomes this sort of like meditating healer that goes around the map healing everyone. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. He's great. You can really but it seems like they did. I don't know for sure, but it seems like they buffed the shit out of his debuff. So it takes like half their life away. It's great. So if someone's cocky and they run out in front, you're just like, debuff, bitch. And they're like, what? Gotta turn around. And it really helps your team. There's a lot of new strategies that really help as well. There's now you can like combine people together. We saw a really great comp where the Harmony, I believe her name is, the angel chick, she was healing Widowmaker, and so she would just stay there out in the open and just snipe the entire time, and no one was taking her on because Harmony's just sitting there full-time healing her, but behind a building, so no one could get to the healer, and so the sniper's just taking people out as they come around the corner. It was great.
Nice.
We were like, you sons of bitches. So finally we just all went sniper and killed her, but you know, for a good like minute and a half, we were like, what is going on? So it was yeah, I'm telling you that when that game comes out, it may be all I play.
Do
For,
they
like,
have they talked at all about, you know, it just interests me that you've got a class-based shooter here, and for the most part I don't think they've ever mentioned any form of how the progression's going to work, because it is a free-to-play game.
They did. I don't know that it's free to play. I have no clue.
It's
someone
gotta be.
asked them.
I mean, I don't think they've announced the business model yet, have they? But I mean,
Yeah,
it's
someone
got to
asked
be
them what
free
the
to play,
business model was,
surely.
and they literally were like, "We have no comment on that right now." What they are working on is they're working on the progression system, and the progression system, because they were like, we want to have something where. What they said is we don't want to have it so you have to unlock characters, because that hampers your ability to make like fun teams and go do crazy things. So we want to have all the characters. They said they want to have all the characters at the start, so you can be whoever the hell you want to be. The progression was that the more you play a character, the more like cosmetic shit you unlock. So
Which
it
is
isn't going to
fine,
be,
sure.
yeah, it isn't going to be like you unlock anything special. Everyone's going to be the same at the start, but progression is, there's like an EXP system. So when we saw like a really base version of it, it was not at all complete and definitely didn't work right. But there's at the end of a battle, you see like how many headshots you, like all these different things, scores pop up,
Mhm.
and how many points of damage you took and all these things. And then it has, you know, very similar to Heroes, the little like and it ticks around your level. And then as you level up, you get new things. What those things are, I have no clue. We didn't see them, but they said it's all cosmetic, and so it doesn't really affect anything.
Interesting. So that sounds like they're probably not going to be selling skins then. I mean, because obviously they're focused a lot in Heroes of the Storm on selling skins and such that are stupidly expensive.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, in Heroes, you unlock stuff as you unlock
Different colors and such, and the master
Yeah.
skin, yeah?
and then you can buy other ones too. I imagine they'd probably go that way. Like, oh yeah, there's a holiday skin for a character or something like I
Cosmetics.
imagine that. Yeah, I imagine they'd try and do something like that. But another thing they talked about was one of the guys who was there literally was like, "So FOV sliders," and I almost just like snorted laughing. He's like, "So FOV sliders, is it going to be a bar that we move, or can we actually put in numbers?" And they were like, "We are going to try and work to figure out which is the best." He's like, "If it's a bar, I swear to God, I'll freak out." He's like, and they're like, "Yes, we're aware some of you need to have 140 DPS." Or
So did you say 140 DPS?
I meant FPS.
What?
He's like,
No.
we're very aware.
That's
some
neither
you
of
need to have
those are the right term.
So FOV, I'm sorry, whatever. Look,
I was like, are you trying to say FOV?
What are you on about?
thank you.
Why
We're
would that
gonna
even be a choice?
have
Just do both.
FOV.
Like, just have the
So-
fucking bar move and then tell you how many degrees of vision it is. It's not that difficult.
I am making a game.
But then
I
again,
don't-
you know, these are the same guys that have
I
argued
am
for years
making
in
that
Hearthstone that if we had more than 9 deck slots, people would get confused. So, you know, they don't think very highly of their players, evidently.
But it was a real treat, and we got to see some of the new characters, and I had a ton of fun playing as Bastion, the hero of all peoples, the biggest camp robot there ever was. Look, I'm telling you right now, when that game comes out, that's all I'm going to play till people realize how to beat him. Because holy shit, until people
Is he
realize
still
how
a
to
problem?
stop, he's still a giant pain in the ass, yes. And until people realize that he's really easy to kill and they understand how to do it, you get so many free kills. Like, it's super easy. And no one realizes until about 5 or 6 minutes into the match, like, oh, we can just go around him the numerous paths that are on each map and just shoot him in the back. But
Yeah,
no
it's
one does
also
that right
hanky
away.
kid.
They all keep trying to come at you, and you're like, okay, and you just run them down. It's great. I love it. I want to play that game
Can't
way
wait for
too
that
much.
game.
Yeah, man, it's so good.
It sort of looks good. The animation quality is really great. I was watching the Pudge style characters. All the stuff they do looks really good. As to
And he's
what the depth
really
of that game is,
effective.
I don't know.
Yes, there's a lot of characters who can fly or hook up and go above the map.
Yeah.
And so having him in the game is really great because you can shut characters down. Like, I didn't do it, but it happened to me. I was playing as, oh my God, what is her name? She has the rockets and she's in the mech suit and my brain just died. Farah.
Oh, yeah, she's awesome.
I was playing Farah
Yeah.
and I went to go do my ult, which is like, you like mech style launch like 500
Yeah, it's
rockets
like,
out of your suit. As I go up to do that, my rockets open up. I get sucked down with that hook, and it just negates the ult. And I was like, what? So that changes things big
Shit.
time.
Yeah.
That changes things really, really. So the fact that you can like cancel people's ults, I don't know if that's possible or if that was a bug that had happened, but it definitely happened, and it was really
it's because
cool.
she's a channeling ult, so you can cancel the ult because it's channeling.
I think that's what it is too. So yeah, there's a lot to it. It's, I think, fantastic. Like the fact that they're taking
All
the time
I
with
know
it,
is, like,
trying to refine it and make it actually like everything work together. I'm like, all right, I understand why it's not out yet, but I want it now.
every time I play it, I'm like, I want to play more. And like, there's
Yeah,
games
me
I'll
too.
play it like
You guys have gotten to play it
conventions
way
and
more
stuff.
than me, and I'm so jealous.
Still haven't got
Can I-
around to it.
Yeah.
Can I tell you my favorite? The best thing I heard is that the playtesters for it are mostly Blizzard employees, right? But the Blizzard employees, most of them are MMORPG players. So when they're playing, a lot of the feedback they're getting is like, it's unfair that people are so mean in this game. And they're like, wait, what do we do with this information? Which I think is hilarious. They have all these like, I'm in a guild, and my guild does not treat people like this. Like, these people kept camping me. It's like, wait,
Oh my
that's
god.
kind of the point of the game.
You apparently do not play games like this often.
Yeah, you do not play FPS at all, do you?
Oh dear. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, I'd say cover the news, but I'm going to rely on Jesse to come up with something, because there's no fucking news this week. There's nothing.
I have a story.
Cool, I guess we could talk about that then. We're watching the Co-optional Podcast. Do not go anywhere, we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-optional Podcast. A dearth of news, dearth of it.
What does dearth mean? Are you being sarcastic or literal?
I'm being literal, I believe, in this case.
Sarcastically literal.
No,
Does dearth mean there's nothing?
pretty much.
Like it's a wasteland of news.
Mm-hmm.
Can
A
I
scarcity
say,
or lack of something is dearth.
Cool, good.
I want to say something slightly controversial from my previous statements on the subject, but over the last week, I got due to some people in this office, I got suckered into trying, for research reasons, of course, not because of peer pressure, the new expansion to Destiny.
Okay.
It is still, I believe, a awful game. However, the new expansion, Taken King, makes it way better. Like, it is not nearly as awful as it was. I will give them all the credit in the world. They actually, the missions are much better. The way it plays, like, campaign, like, it just feels like there's stuff in the game now, which is pretty great. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. I don't have anything else to say.
They
still hate it,
replaced
but-
poor Peter.
Well, apparently
know
it was
what?
shit.
Yeah, actually, Troy.
But like, for me, listening to him in the comparison video that Polygon made, where they did both dialogues together, listening to Nolan North next to Peter Dinklage, I'm like, but Peter sounds so much more unique. Like Nolan North just sounds like every Jarvis robot voice that's been in a video game recently. I was like,
difference
There's
is
those like
that-
small collection of video game voice actors that you hear in almost everything, like Steve Blum and what's Shepard's voice actress, who is super famous and in everything. Jennifer Hale. Yes, of course. There we go. I was going to say
no
she's
comment.
I was waiting for Jesse to hop in, and then I
everything.
realized he
Nope,
never
I
was
was gonna
going
do
to.
Nope.
Yeah, thanks for not helping me on that one. You knew the answer
Sorry.
immediately.
You know my hatred for her being in every fucking video game ever. No, here's the thing though.
Wow,
The
the list
even
of
though his-
stuff she's been in is amazing.
Even though his voice may be unique, his line reading was super weak. And I think that North brings, like, the lines actually have a bit more to them and are actually, like, you can, and I say it's the exact opposite when it comes to Metal Gear. I think fucking Jack Bauer, Kiefer Sutherland, nailed the line reads way better than Hater. I wish that I could jump on the, like, no, he was the first, and thus he's the best Snake. Kiefer Sutherland just read lines better. I mean,
it's rather
and I think-
amusing how many people try and hold on to like, oh, it was the first, so it was the best. You know, it's not really a phenomenon you see in all that many other forms of media. I don't see many people saying, oh yeah, Adam West, fucking best Batman. You know, no doubt, absolutely phenomenal. That's not a thing that happens.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I look, sorry, chat, you're wrong. Kiefer Sutherland's way better. I'm sorry. I fundamentally disagree with you. But yeah, I think that Nolan North did great. And it's the stuff they added to the game actually almost feels like there's a story now, which is bonkers.
There are like a decent number of cutscenes. I was watching.
There's
people stream
actually
it.
things that
Yeah.
happen in it now. The best part that I've experienced so far was playing with some of the guys from the office, hearing them lose their shit when they're like, oh my god, I just replaced this purple with a green, and being like, oh, you've never experienced this before.
You never had the
It's so
Burning
cute.
Crusade.
I'm like, welcome to an expansion. La,
Yep.
la, la, la.
Yay.
It was very, very funny.
Surely they won't do this to us again.
Yes, they will.
They're laughing like, yeah, but like the guns and stuff that we got, like they aren't going to just give it so we can have the skins and put it on something else. I was like, just wait. Just
Of course they
one
will.
day they will.
Absolutely, they will.
One day
You
they
kidding me?
will. Yeah, so it's very cute to see everyone from the FPS world experience MMO stuff, and it was very silly. So
That's great.
yeah, I would definitely say if you think you can stomach a game being now just mediocre, in my opinion, Taken King is actually if you ever want to play Destiny, now would be the time to try it, because it actually improves drastically on the game. So I will leave it at that. Yeah. That's
I
all
still
I'll
have
say.
no desire to play it until it comes to PC, assuming it ever does. And hopefully by the time it does come, the game will be a lot better than it was. So it's like, thanks for beta testing for us, console guys. Much appreciated. It's all good. Yeah, or you could just play Warframe, which is basically Destiny for the most part, but with ninjas. That's all right.
That's pretty okay.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Pretty good.
Alright. Or you could just play Pokemon Shuffle.
Or you could not do that.
Yeah, and collect all the Pokemans until they
Or
make
Blood
you use
Bowl.
Master Balls.
Here's what I do. I play Blood Bowl, and when it's not my turn, I play Pokemon Shuffle.
That's
Solid
the way. You
strategy.
double fist.
You don't even pay attention. What's that? You're like, I don't
Yeah,
care.
double fisted.
Okay,
So by the way, I saw
Okay.
one of your news before I get to my news thing. I saw one of the news things that you posted in our chat is for a game called Cryamore. I helped kickstart that game. Oh, I'm so excited.
Wow.
So
What is it?
it is a like Zelda-y, Chrono Trigger-y game that just got picked up by Atlas, and it looks great. You can actually click that top link there, Dodger, instead of being lazy, and just go look at it. So that, do that instead. And I helped kickstart that like 2 years ago. That was when I actually got into Kickstarter and was like, yeah, this will pay off
was that
eventually.
the first thing that you kickstarted?
Like the third thing I ever kickstarted. The first
was
three
the
things I ever
first?
kickstarted were 3 games. The first game was a game called Blink, which was like Portal, but it was platforms. And as platform like moved, it was like you make the level as you go through it in order to beat it. I was like, that's a cool concept.
Okay.
That has never come out. I
Oops.
think they're still trying to make it. The next thing I kickstarted was a really silly point and click game that did come out and I loved. I think I played it for Fan Friday. It was really short. And then this was the third one. And I was like, I freaking love the concept of this game. I love the way it looks. I love the sprites. I love everything about it. And Atlas was like, we got you, bro. So I'm thrilled that we'll see the light of day now.
First thing I kickstarted was actually Double Fine Adventure, which I somewhat regret. Admittedly, it was only $30. Wasn't really, I first kickstarted it when it was not. They hadn't even had it funded yet, and they were still promising like, yeah, old school adventure. So I was like expecting sort of Scum Engine pixel art, that sort of thing, and then of course it evolved into nothing like that at all. So that was unfortunate. And then I kickstarted Wasteland 2, which I was not disappointed at. And then I kickstarted Takedown. Oh my god.
Speaking of Kickstarter,
Oh.
after my long and sordid career of saying I don't use Kickstarter anymore, which I haven't in a while, I finally broke down and spent money on Allison Road because I want
Yeah, I
that
heard
game
about that,
so badly.
Dude, that game
And
looks so good.
yeah, I was like,
Allison
all
was
right,
good.
you got me. You got me. You know what it is? Honestly, it's because I know I'll never get Silent Hills that I now am just like, this is my replacement. This is the replacement that I want for it. And hopefully you will be sufficient. That's all I care about.
This is off topic. I just want everybody to know I stared down a dude who was right outside my window until he like literally just sidestepped away and out of my vision. And I looked over again and he was just like peeking in. Who are you?
Well,
You know, hey, here's the crazy thing. You know these blinds that are here? You can just close those.
I know. Well,
I
then
do
I
that
would
all
have
the
to
time.
get up again.
Like those blinds.
God, I'd have
No.
to get up and like walk 2 feet and
crazy.
like pull the
I
blind.
can wait the rest of the podcast before I close the blinds.
Need to hire security
do
for
that.
that office so you can just like beat him with a stick and throw him.
I don't think
out.
he wasn't looking at me like, is that Dodger? He was just a dude who was chilling right outside my window and happened to turn around and we locked eyes and I refused to look away and then he
Yes.
just left.
just watching the
Everyone-
podcast on its phone.
Everyone else in this complex is like a real business person, and then there's us. And they're all confused about it. They just don't get it. The other day, Alex and I were playing Metal Gear, and this Asian dude just like stared at us watching us play. Like from outside, and we saw him through a mirror watching, and we're like, hello? And he's like, I locked my keys in my office. Can I use your phone? We're just like, okay. And he walked in and was like, what do you do in here? We're like, how
I've
do
been
we
asked
even
that
explain
so
this?
many times. Yeah, the people who work above us. Actually, I guess nobody's above us now, but the people who were there before,
We made
every-
them leave. Thank you very
we
much.
made them leave. Yeah, we were obnoxious enough. But a couple of times when I went in, somebody would stop me and be like, "What is it exactly that you do in there?" It's like,
Well, I play anime games.
Well, we play video games and then we record them and then we put them on the internet, and that's what we do.
I will say though,
The answer is
once you
media
say-
production. That's all you ever need to say. We're a media
Once you
production
say
company.
you do stuff for the internet, though, their ears perk up. The Asian dude was like, "Oh, I work for a sake importing company. Here's my card," and we were like,
Sake? Why didn't
"What?"
you tell me about this?
I think
Why
that
am I
might have
just
been on
now
purpose.
hearing the story?
Yes. Knowing you, we don't want to give you any more alcohol. Thank you very
Or you
much.
tell people, and then they're like, "How do I get into that type of thing?"
You
It's like,
don't.
well,
Yeah. I've had Uber drivers do that to me before. Be talking about what I do, and they're like,
I started a YouTube channel a while back. I've been thinking about doing this, this, and this. What do you think? Do you think that would be successful? And I'm like,
Probably not.
I lie.
Yeah,
Every
dude.
time I go,
Yeah,
every
dude,
time I
that
get a
sounds
ride
great.
from a cab
Go
or an
for it.
Uber, and they ask me what I do, I say I work at one of the studios. They're like, "Oh my god, which one?" I say Sony every time, and they, "Oh, what movies do you work on?" And I always say Paul Blart. They stop talking to me. They're like, "Oh, that's cool," and they keep driving. I'm like, "Yeah."
Holy
I helped
shit.
make Paul Blart Mall Cop, and they're like, "Oh."
We need
You
to
may
make
have
that a
heard of
thing.
it.
We need to get every YouTuber, when they're asked what to do, to all say we all work at Sony on Paul Blart. And
On
that's it.
Paul
Paul Blart Mall
Blart.
Cop.
It's the only thing we ever do.
I
Actually
tell
did,
that, I swear to God,
special
every time a
effects.
cabbie asks me, they're like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "Oh yeah," like when we were in Atlanta, they were like, "So yeah, so why are you in Atlanta?" I was like, "Oh, I'm here for Dragon Con." He's like, "Oh, that's cool. What do you do?" I was like, "Oh, I work for one of the studios." He's like, "Cool, cool. Which one?" Is like Sony. He's like, "Oh man, but that's awesome." It's like, "Yeah, you got to help make Paul Blart." Silence for the rest of I'm not joking. Every time I do this.
That's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
gosh.
we were really proud of that one scene where he was on the Segway. It's just a lot of work went into that.
Did you know the Segway was all like purely CG? Yeah. We actually had to have him like
I'm
levitate
the
from
one who did
ropes.
that. I
Yeah.
did that CG.
We did it all. Yeah. I also do that too. I'm like, no, I'm actually in editing. It's not really the most exciting part. They're like, "Oh, but it sounds cool. Can you see the movies early?" I'm like, "Yeah, frame by frame." And they're
Frame.
like, "Oh yeah, probably." And they leave me alone. Once you tell them you're in the boring part of the movie industry,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
don't talk to you anymore. It's like, great. Lie through my teeth. Feel real good about it.
We could change it up and say, yeah, I made pixels. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Get out of
I
my
was the guy who
vehicle.
came up with the idea for pixels.
I'm convinced that whatever file they have for me down at Uber HQ, it says doesn't want to talk. don't
Yeah, I
engage.
read
You
that.
have
Like,
you have a rating. You have a rating, right?
oh, I know I have a rating, but I'm convinced there's also just like one sentence there. This just doesn't want to talk because the last like maybe 10 Ubers I've gotten, they're like, welcome to my car. There's water. And then silence. And I'm like, this is the best. I love this. They don't even try anymore. It's great.
That's the best. Anyone who just stops trying, they're onto something.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're
I like
relatively
they keep a
talkative.
file on you. I didn't realize that.
I don't
When you
I
rate
mean,
them, they rate
Yeah.
you too. I was
They
like,
do rate
oh,
you, yeah.
shit.
yeah, I've been so curious. The last couple of times I've wanted to ask what my rating is, but I always think of it as I'm getting out of the car. I feel like it would be weird to be like, bye. By the way, what's my rating? All right, cool. All right, bye.
I rated you equal to what I rated Paul Blart Ball.
From now on, when you get in the car, he's like, "Here's your water." Like, "Oh my god, I brought water for you too." You like give him water?
Just hand him back the exact water he just handed
you're
to
You're
you.
just so nice to him. Like, "Oh my god, here's a water."
I guess the very first time that Sam used Uber when he moved here, the very first Uber driver gave him 1 star. So when he tried to get a second Uber, the guy was like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, that can
I'm like,
happen.
Yeah, told Sam, and Sam was like, what did I do to that first Uber driver? I don't even remember.
Yeah, he probably got a 1
Gotta be
star. If it was
careful.
his one time, his first review was probably 1 or no stars. Which means the second time he tried, everyone was like, "Oh no."
Yeah, it gets more
Definitely
difficult
not
to get them at
guy.
that point.
Yeah, so it took him a while for somebody to accept it, and he was like, you're a 1 star, buddy. You gonna vomit in my car or what? So I was like, what?
This guy looks like such a douche, really full of himself. God, I don't want to pick him up.
Yeah, it's a weird company because like we know that the service is not. It's probably going to run into some serious legal trouble very shortly, and there should be regulation about that shit. And I've heard some pretty nasty horror stories about how they don't do proper background checks on drivers and so on and so forth. But simultaneously, taxis are so fucking shit that I'm absolutely willing to take that risk.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but the competing service is maybe the worst thing in the universe.
Yeah.
So the fact
Yeah.
that this is bad doesn't put me off, because that is worse.
Here's
Yeah.
the crazy thing, and I don't understand it to save my life. The last like 5 Ubers I've taken have been like young college-age girls. And I'm like, that's cool. If I was you, I would not do this. I'd be scared to death.
Yeah.
The guy who got in my cab would be like, "I want to go to your house." Like, I would not do that at all, but whatever. More power to you. Make that money. I wouldn't do it, though.
I wouldn't either. I'd be
Even
scared.
as a man, I wouldn't do it. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't do
I would
it.
expect to die.
Look at my
I would
frail
expect to be
build.
killed.
Look at my frail build.
They would eat you up and
Look at my
spit
little
you out.
body.
You would
What am I
definitely
supposed
be
to do
murdered.
with this?
You guys would definitely be killed. If I was a killer, I would kill you guys.
Aw, thanks, Jesse. Thanks, Jesse.
I
I
think
would
Uber
just-
is probably the lesser of 2 evils in many ways at this point.
Apparently, a lot of people have problems getting like using Uber X because the Uber X drivers are just like, who knows who. A lot of people, I guess, have problems with harassment from Uber X.
Yeah,
Drivers,
I read
I've
that
never-
tweet earlier. Never had that, but obviously,
I've
you
never
know,
had that
I am
Lyft
male,
or, like,
so.
Like, those are just like the dudes. Like, I put a mustache on my car. I'm going to pick you up. Like, yeah, the only people who actually have any certification stuff are like the black car dudes.
Yeah.
And up. And there's like,
Yeah.
there's one that's like special service. Also, if you're in
There's
LA,
one
I
that shows up
swear
in a
to God-
tux.
Yeah, in LA, there's a helicopter service.
What?
That's
If
great.
I was a billionaire, I would fly everywhere. I would be like, pick me up, bring it down, everywhere. Hands, I'd be like, let's do this.
I mean, one way or the other, that service is clearly going to be the way of the future, whether it be Uber that actually does it. There's obvious demand for it. I'm sorry, but fucking hailing a cab and then not having any idea how much it's going to cost, chances are you have to pay in cash, because even if they do have a card machine, the fucking thing doesn't work. It smells, it's uncomfortable, it's not good. Of course, people are going to want to have a little app that says, I want to go here, and then someone shows up at that exact point based on
And
GPS.
There's no exchange
Yeah.
of money.
You
which
pay
also
through
makes
credit
it feel
card, there's no
really
tipping.
comfortable.
It is
Yeah,
a more
everything's taken
pleasant
care of
experience
on
all
the
around.
You know who your driver's going to be before they even get there. They have to
Yeah.
accept you, and you can be like, oh, I don't want this person, and not
Yeah.
accept them. Like, it's all around pretty great.
Yeah, like one time there's this guy I got, and he was just like, he had like 3 stars or something, and I was like, I don't know about that. And he was just like, I'm trying to find you. And he couldn't find me, and I'm like, cancel. And then I got like this old guy that used to work on like nuclear submarines, and he was like, let me tell you
That's
about it. And I'm
cool
like,
as
this
shit,
is cool. And he'd be like, yeah, I'm down there for 3 months, and then it come back up, and then you go back down. And I was like, oh shit.
That's pretty great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so sometimes you just meet really cool people. And sometimes
People like what
it's
happened
just...
driving for yourself. Have you never been on a plane and gone to a place? Because last
Yeah.
time I checked, I couldn't take my fucking car on the plane. There are many, many fucking reasons why that's a
Also-
bad idea.
I would rather take an Uber than ever deal with a rental car company. Are you kidding?
Oh
me?
my
Same.
god, yes.
Same.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to rent
Oh
a
my
car?
goodness.
Yep.
It's
I would
fucking
rather-
bad.
I would rather suffer through having to tell another person I work for Paul Blart Mall Cop than have to go sign a rental car agreement.
Oh, I
And
think
most,
we.
I mean, most of the time, conventions also put you in a place where you can walk, and pretty much
Yeah.
anywhere you need to go.
Or take
You
a
only need
shuttle.
to use. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was at Dragon Con and I used the shuttles at Dragon Con. That's assuming they ever showed up. There was a guy there, like old guy, like easily like 60s plus, back problems. He'd been waiting for the shuttle for over an hour. This is Atlanta in summer. You know, it's really unpleasant. We took the shuttle once and then never did it again because not only is it slow as shit because it goes all the way around the loop until it finally gets to where it needs to go. It randomly shows up. We got like there was only one line that was covering our hotel, and we had 4 buses show up from other lines. Nobody got on them, and everyone was waiting for this one on the main line, and none of them showed up for it. So we just ended up Ubering in and out of the city because like fuck it, this is stupid. I'm not going to wait here for an hour in the blazing hot sun for this. Public transport in the States fucking sucks. I'm sorry, it does. It's understandable why people would want to do other things.
And to be clear, from where I was to the convention center was like $4.20 on Uber.
Yeah, it was $5 for
I was
us.
like,
that was it.
This is pretty much a steal when you think of it. You pay $2 to take a bus, and then you have to wait for every damn stop as you go. Like, I'd rather pay $2 more and just get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally fair. And all of these, some cities, of course, obviously have metros and things like that. But when you first visit a city, you have no idea what the routes are. You don't know what the fuck you're doing.
LA has a metro system, but it doesn't go to a lot of places, and people keep appealing for them to make new tracks, and then they don't. It makes me sad.
Chicago has like a metro system like London, except it's from the 80s and not updated.
Aw, man.
Yeah.
Let's
Some-
combine those.
Yeah. London's was the best. I love London.
Oh, God. Yeah.
The tube. Yeah.
Yeah, the
the
tube is great.
I mean, you can just get a little app which will tell you like the optimal routes to every place you want to go, which is awesome. And then just take it that way. I mean, I don't know. During rush hour, the tube is fucking awful. But as long as it's not rush hour, you're fine.
Yeah.
Our metro doesn't even go into like Marina del Rey, Santa Monica, Venice, any of that.
Nope.
And if it did, people would use the shit out of it. And
I would.
it's so obnoxious. So dumb. So dumb. LA, figure it out.
Come on, LA.
Come on, LA, you piece of shit. Figure it out.
Indeed. This has nothing to do with games at all.
I
like
have
that
something that has to
thing.
do with games.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
What we got?
So, remember how I've been saying for a while that eSports is a gaping maw of assholes filled with their own
Yes.
egos?
That's I know. Yes, very much so.
like a lot of sports or humanity.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say this is not unique to
Feels
esports.
like people in
Yes.
general.
I have for a while been very angry at the background esports stuff. And apparently it just came out. So if you all follow the news, yesterday, the dude who was the guy who bought the 62-year-old drug for AIDS patients
yeah.
who helps them basically eat is like what it is, I believe. No, it's if they get an infection. Whatever the case may be. It's a drug that if you have AIDS or I think some form of cancers, it helps you with an infection that you can get.
It's
'cause you have
called
a low immune system.
Daraprim. It came out in the 50s. This is a toxoplasmosis treatment, essentially.
Yeah. And so it is this drug that was sold for $13.50 a pill. And his company bought it. and then jack the price up to $750 a pill.
Yeah,
and
pretty ridiculous.
And he was basically claiming like we need it for R&D stuff, and everyone's like, it's a 62-year-old pill.
Yeah, there's no R&D
associated
involved in it. Yeah.
And he's like, well, my company needed to make money, and they're like, you have other drugs. Like, what are you doing? So basically, he's just a douchebag. Anyway,
well, he's a hedge fund manager. Of course, he's a douchebag.
Yeah.
This douchebag owns a Dota 2 team.
Yes, he does.
Sums up my thought process, because everyone's like, owners can't be that
He owns
bad.
a LOL team as well, doesn't he? I think.
Yes, I think he either bought a LOL and then owns a Dota, or owns a LOL and bought a Dota team. One of the two.
So I've got the article up here about this. So they had a team called Imagine, which was a LOL team. They then acquired the North American Dota 2 team Leviathan. So he owns those.
Yes, and as I've stated before, I don't think I need to even explain anymore. A lot of the behind the scenes stuff, a lot of assholes. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Who knew? This just proves my point. I don't even need to talk about it anymore. I thought this was hilarious. When I saw this, I was like, yeah, all right. Everything makes sense now. It describes everyone's mentality. And this guy is like the poster child for asshole mentality. And I was like, I rest my case, Your Honor. I'm just going to walk out of the courtroom, drop the mic, and leave. Because it's amazing. And yeah, like one of the things he says is he wants to... where is the line? The quote's like
change the landscape of competitive gaming as we know it.
That's what it is.
Which is amusing. It's like how exactly do you intend on doing that?
Yes. So I like that the article ends with a Dota 2 player on Reddit summed up the situation perfectly when he asked the game's lead designer to please patch the game so that Team Leviathan has to pay times 56 for regen items.
Regen items. I say, don't worry, because Team Leviathan is shit. Like, I just want to point this out. Their grand total of achievements, they got 1 second-place finish in a little tournament called SIVO, and they lost to a team called Sneaky Nick's Assassins 2-0. So they have, in terms of prize money from, like, any majors or even minor leagues, they've got a grand total of $2,000. I believe, yeah, they do, I think they don't even exist anymore, actually. Because I'm looking at the roster and they're all listed as former squad. So, oh yeah, they then apparently transferred to the Imagine. What? This is weird.
Imagine Dragons.
So Team Imagine, the one that I mentioned earlier, picked up Team Leviathan, and
now they're
I
Odyssey
believe,
Gaming.
Something like that. I maybe they're both under the Imagine brand or something along those lines now.
God.
Yeah, Team Imagine picked up the full roster. Oh, incidentally, that team hasn't won anything at all. So, yeah.
Let me just state, behind the scenes, again, eSports, like the Wild West. Crazy shit goes down, and there's no regulatory anything. Like, this is great. So if you click on the Team Imagine, on August 7th, Imagine merges with Odyssey Gaming. You click that. Then it goes, Odyssey Gaming, on August 7th, team merges with Imagine. But then there's no other information.
What?
And then it says a bunch of the players from Odyssey Gaming have left, and now I guess they're all part of Team.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, there's no point in ragging on the team. It's not the team's fault that their owner is
Definitely
a massive fucking piece of shit. But the thing is, I've encountered like team owners and sponsors over the last few years that have been just unbelievably awful people.
I will say it's not players. The players are just young kids who love a game and are playing it for money. I will never ever say that players are assholes, because they're not. They're most of the time, if they have egos, it's because they're fucking good at the game and they deserve an ego. I've met a lot of managers and PR people and owners who are just scumbags. You're like, well, I'm glad I got into this business. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, like, there's been so many instances over the past few years in StarCraft. Like, there was a guy who we think faked his own death to get out of paying back wages, basically.
What?
Like, he literally vanished. They hired a private investigator to try and find this guy, because there were people owed a huge amount of money from it. Is just like, oh god.
But there was no
body? How did he fake his own death rather than just like skip out?
We don't know. Like so I mean, this was like last year. Esports CEO disappears after owing staff over $40,000, and there was some claims that he had like a life-threatening illness or something, and then it was called Simon Boudreault. He was the CEO of Quantic Gaming, and he vanished. I'm not sure if anything has happened since then, because there was like some claim that he had some like life-threatening health issue, and then he disappeared. He actually might. I mean, he may be dead. It's impossible. I really don't know. But it was some crazy stuff going on last year in StarCraft with that guy, and there's been all sorts of issues with that. Oh, wow, yes. There's an article from the Daily Dot. Missing eSports CEO seen partying on Facebook.
Oh, no. What a dummy.
Yeah,
can
clearly not dead.
I have always, I'm not sure if I ever told this, but I always want to say this story. I probably told it to Dodger or Crendor in person, but literally the very first day that I had an esports team, I was at an event, and the PR manager for another team that I'm not going to mention literally came up to me and was like, "You're not really welcome here, and you're not one of us, and you would have been better off giving us your money as a sponsor than getting involved, because you're just wasting your time." Like, straight up, that was the first interaction I ever had with someone. I was like, cool, great. Nice to know you.
Awesome.
That's amusing. Like, weirdly enough, in StarCraft 2, I've never had that experience, because I started as a caster and then, ended up owning a team. And we never ran into that problem, oddly enough. But that's a really cliquey thing to say.
You were also established in the community for StarCraft well before starting a StarCraft team.
True, but then again, HOTS isn't even had the chance to be established.
And that's
I know.
And that's
I'm sorry, what's the old school, like, fucking old guard of Heroes of the Storm? There isn't one.
And that's the thing.
Everyone jumped into this game just to make money. That's the reality of it.
That's what gets to me the most. Is this was one of those things that I was like, well, if I'm ever gonna make a team for something, I'll make a team in a game that
you actually give a fuck
is not
about.
established, that I can do cheaply compared to like League, where I have to pay like ridiculous amount of money to people.
Yeah, getting involved.
I was
in
like,
that is insane.
I'm gonna get in a game that it's like on the lower tier of MOBAs right now, and
still is.
And I can be involved. I can be involved in this community, and the community was like, "Fuck you for trying," and I was like, "Whoa!" And it has not improved at all.
It's
like
that's really funny.
It's like, "Fuck this guy," and I'm like, "What did I literally have people who hate me? I don't know why. Like, people in this community hate my guts. I could not tell you why." And I'm like, "All right, well, thanks." And yeah, and the egos are through the roof. They're crazy. And it's everyone from casters to managers to, like, everyone is super like, yeah, I'm important. And I honestly truly believe it's because Blizzard's involved. If this wasn't a Blizzard game, the egos would not be anywhere near where they are. And it's because everyone thinks that because it's Blizzard, it will get huge. I mean, they all think like this is their ticket to the big payday, and they're so fucking important now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, think about what game we're playing. This is Heroes.
It's the Mario Kart of Dota Club.
Yes, they laugh at us. We're the laughable cousin.
But we were on ESPN.
I was gonna say, like, they have a bunch of ex-StarCraft players that weren't good enough to compete in StarCraft that switched to that. It's like switching to Hearthstone, really. Like, it's the Hearthstone of fucking Dota-style games. And basically, like, the vast majority of organizations that jumped into that game jumped in to get a bit of Blizzard's money, because they know that Blizzard is willing to throw money at a game until something happens in the competitive scene. And they've been doing this.
Will do it. I don't think Heroes will do it.
Overwatch. It's like, will Overwatch become competitive in the market where CSGO is that dominant? Maybe not, but it's entirely fine, by the way, if it doesn't. It could still be a great game without being a competitive scene.
I think it has a very League of Legends-esque like feel to it.
Heroes, and I know this to be true because I feel it deep in my soul, because that happens with Blizzard all the time. Every time a new Blizzard game comes out, it kills a percentage of the audience of their old Blizzard games.
Oh, it definitely cannibalizes. Yeah, that's true.
And Overwatch will cannibalize the shit out of Heroes because it has Heroes mechanics in the fucking game, and it's a better all-around game. And
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, I want to be supportive of this other thing, but when the community's like, yeah, piss off for trying, how can you be supportive? So I literally stopped talking.
Let me give you a little bit of advice. I've been dealing with this for 6 fucking years, right? This will always happen. It doesn't matter how established you get. There will always be people that are like, you don't belong here for some stupid elitist reason or whatever. 6 years of casting, and I still get people saying, like, why is he doing this? Blah, blah, blah. He shouldn't be here.
It's different if it comes from, like, a dude, like even during things where, like, my team's playing in a match, there's always this one guy in Twitch chat who's like, fuck these guys. Even if it's him, don't care, because that's just a fan. And fans in sports, even esports, are super
assholes.
passionate.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. I'm like, you be you, haters gonna hate. But when it's people who are in the business with you, it's mind-blowing to see, like, attitudes like that. And you're just like, I definitely do not, like, I don't think I have the type A personality for it. I'm like a solid B-. Like, I can't be this mean, like, this asshole. Like, when kids on the team are like, yeah, I just think I'm gonna go back to school because, like, it's just not for me, and I'm like, yeah, go back to school. I'll just void your contract, go back to school.
We actually had exactly the same thing with Axiom for years.
I have you for a year. You finish out your year.
Oh, that happens. That really does.
And I could never be that guy. I'm like, no, just go back, go to school. That's much more important than this.
It really is.
And it's tough to keep a team together when you're like, your personal life is far more important to me. You do your thing. I'm too nice for esports. I'm convinced of it. I want to be an asshole, and I never will be. I'm an asshole on the internet only. And I'm like, all right, have fun. I love you.
It's cutthroat as shit, and it's very Wild West. I was talking to, while I was at Red Bull, I did a number of interviews with various places. There's one up on the Washington Post right now, actually, which I think actually misquotes me. Apparently, I'm a former gamer turned YouTuber, by the way.
Of course.
I mean, that's right in some respects, like, because I imagine what she meant to say was, like, I used to, play games as a hobby, now I do it for a living, blah, blah, blah. I was kind of amused by that, but anyway,
Former
whatever.
pro esport player, TotalBiscuit.
She didn't know a huge amount about esports. I don't blame her. She was genuinely inquisitive and happy to be there, so I'm not going to blame her. But one of the interviews that we did, we got into 2 topics, which was drug testing in esports and betting in esports. And both of those, like, show just how undeveloped esports is in general. Like, the betting scene is kind of crazy. For StarCraft 2 in particular, there's a lot of illegal betting that goes on in South Korea, like illegal betting rings. So there's a lot of real bullshit that's been happening there. We know that people have fixed matches. We know that people have been approached to fix matches. We know that people have tried to scam their way into even observing a game so they can get information a few minutes earlier. Because this is a really dodgy betting scene. So as a result, even getting a few minutes lead time on what the stream is seeing is a big deal. And then, of course, you've got drug testing with the ESL being one of the biggest organizations on the planet for esports, introducing a drug testing policy that doesn't include prescription Adderall, which is the one problem drug. Like, that's the thing which even caused them to put this in the first place, the revelations, I think the Cloud9 revelations.
That the big problem was
Yes.
that there was a whole team using Adderall?
Adderall, yeah. And it's been widespread for years. Like, of course they've used Adderall. Why wouldn't they if they can? And I was saying, look, so this policy doesn't allow you to smoke weed on the day of play, but you can smoke it the night before. As if anyone would ever smoke weed as a performance enhancer.
Right.
Have you ever? You don't seem to understand how this works.
Man, I'm moving the units.
I'm doing it, guys.
It's like,
them around.
it's like Jesse, that's not a mouse. You're just playing with a bottle. No, it's.
I desperately
hold on. I need more Vespine gas.
I want to see a dude.
Vespine gas. I thought this was LOL. What the fuck, man?
A guy high as a kite. The guy high as a
wrong game.
I want to be in the mind of that dude as it's like slow motion for him as he's trying to like harvest minerals.
Oh man!
But meanwhile, it's super fast. His hands are like this.
Yeah.
But he's like, I can see the colors.
Oh man. It's yeah, and like it's like, oh, you can use Adderall as long as you have a prescription and note from your physician. Like, what do you think this is? This is Adderall. I use Adderall, and I've been using Adderall for a reasonable amount of time because of like the chemo brain issue that I had with the focus and everything. So it took me 3 minutes to convince my doctor to prescribe me a pretty high dose of Adderall. And I'm not going to lie, it is damn good, and I can absolutely see exactly why people doing esports would take it. Because it is a performance enhancer. It's much, much better for focus than anything else. It kickstarts you in the morning. It's like having 10 coffees, but without the jitters. You know, you're super focused for a long period of time. So all of these guys are just easily getting prescriptions for it because it's so easy to get a prescription. You barely have to convince anyone. You just have to say, oh, you know, well, I'm having trouble focusing, difficult my job, I might have symptoms of adult ADD. And you can get it. And, I mean, Adderall is hugely overprescribed in the US. Hugely. But the problem is that you can't really, as an esports organization, stop people from using it if they have a prescription. Because you can't call into question how legitimate that prescription is. Simple as that. So, yeah, it's a problem. There's no doubt about that. And, you know, those are just a few of the fucked up things about esports. I mean, don't get me started on how many fucking teams are sponsored by G2A that are literally, in many cases, getting dodgy keys or stolen keys for the games that are being played. Like, there are StarCraft 2 teams sponsored by G2A, when on G2A, there is the ability to buy copies of StarCraft 2 that have either been stolen or taken from cheap regions, basically. And you know that's also a platform for selling review keys. There was a recent article, and we've known about this for a long time as YouTubers, that there are people that scam review keys out of indies and then go and sell them on platforms like G2A. They pretend to be a YouTuber, they get the game, and then they sell it. And that platform is dodgy as hell. And yet it's sponsoring so many different teams because they'll take the money. They don't care where it comes from. They'll just take the money. Yeah. So yeah, esports it's all over the place. You know, it's a dodgy area in many ways.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got so many stories about that. I could go on for hours. 6 years of StarCraft, I've seen a lot of shit. A lot of shit. You know, Jesse, did you actually, because I would really like to talk a little bit about Heroes before we kind of go to the releases. Did you watch any of the event in Las Vegas this weekend?
I did. I watched up until I didn't watch on Sunday. I watched all day Saturday because I was interested to see what the teams that I didn't know about could do. I am all for Complexity and COG. I think those guys are great. But honestly, truly, I could give a shit about Cloud9 or Tempo Storm again, because literally every final for the entire longevity of Heroes has been those two teams over and over and over again. So I literally didn't care. God bless them. I'm sure, you know, they'll do fine. But yeah, I wanted to see what the other teams had to offer and what they could do. And it was fun. I think they put on a great show. It was, I think the casters did a great job, but you know, it was like heavily produced. So you can't really go wrong if like everyone's on point. So I watched Saturday, and after that I didn't care anymore.
It's interesting. I think like you're one of the only people that spoke positively about that production.
I thought
People were saying it was like very overproduced and that there were issues here and there. Who are the established casters these days in Heroes of the Storm? Like
that's
I know
something of contention.
Because didn't they bring Nick and Dan over to do it? Artosis and Tasteless, who are like basically the most famous StarCraft casters, didn't they?
There was a lot of moments. I will say there's a lot of moments where it was like,
oh yeah,
this person doesn't necessarily know what they're talking about. But what they've done is they have brought people from the world of Twitch and promoted them to be casters on their tournaments, which is good and bad, because some of them are very, very good. Some of them not really, like Solid Jake, Kubi, like some of those guys are fantastic. They brought some of the people who were casters on Twitch and like upgraded them to caster for tournaments. And some of them are very, very good, but some of them are just like the worst. And so what's happened is people that when I first got into this, and goes back to what I was saying earlier, people that when I first got into this were just like lovely, wonderful, nice to meet Twitch casters and players, are now promoted esports like celebs, and their egos have gotten so out of control.
Oh dear.
It's like, no, please stop. You used to be wonderful. You used to be a wonderful person, and now nobody can stand you. And the fact that no one's just flat out said it to your face is beyond me. But it's there's a certain caster, no names, that when his or her name is brought up, literally everyone in the room just groans. Like,
Oh.
God. Like, people are just, everyone agrees, like, that person.
We used to have someone like that.
Yeah. And so it's an interesting, I'm not sure what the strategy over at Blizz is, because what I do know is that the casters who have been there a while and have put in their time are being pushed off to the side in replacement of Twitch casters, which, you know, sometimes they're great, but most of the time I worry for both the casters and esports in general that the strategy is we're trying to bring Twitch people in so we can get their audience
That's
to watch
exactly
our stuff,
it. Yeah.
and we can pay them jack shit to do it.
Mhm.
And I tweeted a while back, like, hey, Twitch users, remember what you're worth. You're worth more to them than they are to you. You're just playing a game. They need you more. And I truly just, it's not like, I'm not saying, I don't even mean, but like, sometimes it's okay to say no, guys. Like, I get this is like the big break for a lot of people. And so this is probably in one ear, out the other. But while you think you're getting successful off of this, they're basically using you until they can't use you anymore.
I learned that
It's really
shit
what
like
it is.
5 years ago. Machinima like, come make videos. And I'm like, okay. I like making videos. Then it's like, we own you for life. It's like,
It is definitely
oh,
true.
man.
Like, smaller games in particular will often do this. I mean, even in promotional events, like, I mean, you remember when I did PlanetSide 2 for a while, you know? I was into PlanetSide, obviously, because I played it for like 5 fucking years. But why did they get me instead of someone who maybe has more FPS experience? Because I have an audience and that guy doesn't, you know? And with Heroes, if you look at the view count, it's not brilliant. You know, even that was their biggest event so far, right? If I recall correctly, the Vegas thing. And they were, topping out about 40K concurrent, which is
I think
like...
the highest they got during the finals was 45. Yeah.
Yeah, which is... I mean, I've beaten that with a StarCraft tournament. It was a few years ago, but like there are StarCraft tournaments that definitely do better than that. And
I think
like,
we beat that with opening Hearthstone packs.
I think we probably did, actually. That's
worst.
always sad. You know, that's really
This is
sad
literally the
when
worst.
that happens.
Oh, the truth.
It's
Truth comes out.
yeah, I mean, with Heroes, it seems like, you know, they really want it to be an esport. They wanted from the very start for it to be an esport.
Look,
but
I want
it's
it to be a popular esport.
Of course
I'm
you do, because
just
you
as
have a vested
invested as everyone
interest.
else is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But whether or not that'll ever happen
But,
is
you
a
know,
different matter.
It's getting beat by RuneScape right now, guys. It's getting beat by RuneScape. All right,
Yeah.
RuneScape. RuneScape.
The entire basis of Heroes...
RuneScape beats a lot of shit, actually. Don't start with RuneScape. That beats StarCraft on a regular basis, so there's some big
Beating it
RuneScape
right now.
streamers. Yeah, it is. It's actually beating it by...
Yeah.
All right, fuck RuneScape. All right, I'm streaming after this, fuckers. We're playing Zerg. No, I'm too tired. Can't do that. But
Blood Bowl 2's at 4,000 almost right now.
that's exciting.
Aw.
It's really good.
Strippin'
2,
and
bro.
Fury and Flax are streaming it.
Nice.
But yeah, it's one of those things that, as a person who is, like I've said this before, as a person who's a massive Blizzard fan who's played the games for literally over 20 years,
Sure, yeah.
the first Blizzard game I ever played was Lost Vikings on my SNES long ago, and then I played Warcraft 1 and have been hooked on their games ever since. I have been playing their games for 20 fucking years. I'm a massive fan, and I've also said it's kind of like one of those political things. Like, as a fan, because I love it so much, I complain a lot. I complain a lot because I want it to be the best it can be.
Yep.
And in this case, the community that I'm involved with, I'm like, I can't believe that it is this way on the inside. Here's the thing. Everyone I've talked to, it's this way in all esports, especially MOBAs. It's like, how is this I'll never understand it. I'm definitely not cut out for it. I've learned that, like, I
It's cutthroat, man.
thankfully have a manager who handles everything, because I'm just like, I'm going to not do this anymore. I'm just going to let you guys do it, and I'm not even going to address it. Not even going to talk about it, because the stuff I discover is like, this is fucking crazy. Like, this is
that's it.
next level crazy. And
Chat
it's
brings up a good
all
point.
esports.
I am actually the #1 2014 Heroes of the Storm streamer. So
Oh, yeah, you
anyone
are,
should have
aren't you?
A big ego.
That's true. That is true. They did not include me on that list. I'd like to continue to point out.
Didn't I win something on that as well? Like,
I think you won a StarCraft. Or wait,
yeah,
the
which is
Heroes
amusing
thing?
because I'd streamed like I'd
yeah,
streamed
sorry.
ladder maybe once that entire year, but because I did like a bunch of big tournaments or whatever, they got me in for that or something. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
That's such a random thing.
It was
for
a
them
bit
to
weird
do.
when it's like you're the #1 hero streamer. Like, you what?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those things where at the end of the day, it's like everyone forgot that it's a video game that people are playing for fun. And these are all young kids who this is like the coolest thing they've ever done. And to make it not cool is fucking dick move. Like, this should be the
Yeah.
best time of their life. Like, holy shit.
That's true.
You're going to pay me money to play a video game with friends and we get to live in a house together. Like, this is so fucking cool. And when people forget that that's what it is at its core, it angers me so goddamn much. And I'm just like, I don't care if they win or lose. I just want them at the end of the day to have fun and end up like a little bit better than when they went in as a team. That's all I care about. And that is not the case with most of the people I meet. There's some really great people out there, but the vast majority are giant cunts. And I just can't even describe
Tell us how you really
bad
feel, Jesse.
it pains me. It pains me deep inside because it's something that I love, and I hate finding out that stuff that I love is awful. It's like meeting that favorite celebrity of yours, and
Yeah.
they be awful people, which is why I go fucking.
Nobody wants to know how the sausage is made. Ow.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of YouTubers and streamers also get corrupted by money. That
True
doesn't
enough.
happen.
What? No,
Yeah.
not
They try to-
us.
Then they might try to
Not
make a
us.
video
Not our
game and then
demographic.
pawn it off that they don't know anything about the game and sell it to you. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, and who would do that?
Nobody would ever do
Yeah, what-
something like that.
Who would do that?
That's as we all look around awkwardly, having all taken brand deals at some point.
Who would do that?
Yeah, who would do that?
I don't think I've ever taken a brand deal for a game that I've actually not liked, though.
I did, and
Oh,
I was
I did.
immediately punished for it, and I've never done it again. It was.
Do you want to name names?
Oh no, it was it's really fucking obvious. It was oh my god, that Canon thing, that mobile app shit, whatever that was called.
What, Clash of Clans, was it?
Clash of Clans.
Oh,
that's
yes.
what it
Clash
I
was.
don't believe you
Oh,
took money to play
yeah.
Clash of Clans. Oh,
They
God.
paid me to play Clash of Clans, and I even said like, this is a promotional video, but like, yeah, it's so great, guys. It's not a good game. It's not a good game.
I like
And,
Clash of Clans.
Literally, every comment was like, "Fuck you, Cox," and I was like, "Well, guess who's never doing one of these again?" So I
You learned your
already-
lesson. You know?
They were
Yeah,
very
ever since then, I
dissatisfied with my video. Yeah, because I was like,
Ever
all
since
right,
then,
this is
I've
a
kept
promotional
it.
video. I'm playing Clash of Clans. I have no idea if I'm going to like this or not. And I was like pretty harsh with it. But I think it was also, again, it was like what we've talked about before on this podcast, where when you take a brand deal, you either feel like you have to be overly critical to seem like you're not biased,
Yeah.
or you wind up, being overly positive, and then everybody's like, "Fuck you! You're only saying that because of the money." And it's like, you can't win. Like,
Lesson learned. That was like 2-3 years ago. That was way back when they first started doing brand deals, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll do that." Lesson learned.
I only
now
do
I'm really,
like games
really
where
strict
like
in what I do.
they look like they'll be cool and interesting, and I'm like, all right, this seems like it could be fun. Or games where I'm like, oh yeah, I know I'll like this. Like if someone's like, hey, you want to play Pegwood Party 3? I'm like, no.
yes.
No, you got to go to Dodger for that one. She's got you
Yeah.
covered.
And in fact, now I get a lot of emails on a daily basis that are like, "How much would it cost to play our game on your stream?" And I was like,
We get a lot of that, too.
I'm seriously like, give me a link to the game. If it's good, I'll play it myself on the stream, and you don't need to pay me a damn thing. Like, because most of those people are like, play our game. And I'm like, here's the deal. I know your game's going to suck, and I know I'm not going to play it on the stream. But if you give me a copy of your game, I'll give it a look, which is code for, I don't want to be involved in your money shenanigans at all. Thanks very much. And I never hear back from them. I never hear back from them.
It's
And-
really awkward because I mean we get a lot of emails like that, and I actually feel sorry for a lot of the guys because
Yeah.
the reason they're offering me money is because I probably haven't covered their game on my own, and they know I probably won't. So they're like, God, we need the promotion, please, 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 kind of situation. And I can't do that. I can't. It's just a format that wouldn't work for me at all, because there's no way I could ever get through that without giving an opinion of some sort. And as soon as I give that opinion's fucking worthless because, it was paid for.
It's all about
dodgy.
publicity, and they just want that publicity so badly they want to pay for it. And I'm like, yeah, but I still want to have fun on my own channel and do things that people will enjoy. So if it's not good, I'm not gonna like show it to people. Which is, even though it's like, yeah, you have a show called Jesse Sells Out. The things I sell out to are things that I, at least in some way, I'm like, all right, this is cool. I'll have fun with this. I can't not have fun anymore. I've given up trying to pretend like
life
I'm
is
not,
too short to do shit you don't want to do, ultimately.
Yeah, man, I'm done with it. I was like, look, I cannot take your money and still feel really good. So I'm gonna just move on.
I mean,
That was like when we did the Warlords of Draenor thing. The Warlords of Draenor thing. They were like, hey, you want to do this podcast thing? And we'll do this stuff and you can come out here and we'll show you around. I was like, yeah. And they're like, and we'll pay you for it. I was like, whoa, what? Like, I was ready to do that for free.
real?
And here's the thing, Crendor knows, like, I went super ham on everyone involved. Like, when people screwed up, when nameless entities, Polaris, screwed up, I went super ham on them because Crendor and I have a relationship with Blizzard, and we took a deal to make stuff with them because I like them so much. And I was super pissed when it didn't, like, come out the way I wanted it to, and we were not at all involved in that. And I was like, bullshit, this is bullshit.
I think, and people know how, like, biased you are towards Blizzard, because I think it's the same thing with me as well, because they know, look, I do StarCraft as kind of part of my job, and I own a team. If you listen to me on the term, you know that I'm not really. It's weird because you're simultaneously an authority on that game, but you're simultaneously not trustworthy because it's in your best interests for people to like that game because you have a team in it. So that's weird. That's really weird. I mean, I don't know if you guys want to keep going because obviously we're a bit. We did start a bit late. I would love to kind of get into a little bit that. You guys watched a bit of that Danny O'Dwyer video, didn't you? The one about YouTube that got linked in our chat. You remember the one about? Yeah, maybe you didn't. I'm pretty sure you commented on it, Jesse.
I definitely saw it. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh,
yeah, it was the video of the guy from Danny O'Dwyer has been on our show before. He's a good friend of mine, and he works at GameSpot. He does a great series called The Point, and he also did a recent video that was about the dangers of YouTube brand deals, essentially, and how they're going to potentially change the landscape of gaming and all that kind of thing. And I got a chance to watch some of that, and I'd certainly like to have your guys' thoughts on where YouTube is going.
What did you take away from that, by the way? What was your takeaway from that? Because it might be different from mine.
I mean, my takeaway from that is, I mean, for the most part, he understands the issues, but whether or not his conclusion is the same that I would draw is maybe different. I think he called it the damaging culture of paid games coverage, I think is the name of his video. Most of his conclusions I agree with, but his overall takeaway, he comes at it from a very different angle. He's predisposed not to think it's okay. So needless to say, he's sort of justifying his argument in that respect.
I think it's
he's pre-created a conclusion. Is that what you mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, it's an opinion piece, so he already thinks this way.
Yeah.
And since he's from traditional media, it's more likely that he's going to think this way because the way that they do advertising and brand deals and native stuff is a bit different to how YouTubers do it.
Well, I think what has happened, just to sort of go back in the history of advertising, when YouTube first started, there were ads, and the ads would play before or after, or sometimes you could put them in your videos, and that was it. And then people created ad block or skip buttons. And so the ad money that people got dropped. Then, because there's only so many ads, and YouTube opened up the ability to get those ads to more and more people, there was less ads to go around to everyone. So the money generated by YouTubers dropped. And everyone needs to understand that this is a business, and what we do is a business. It's how we live. No one in this little group here has another job that they use to supplement like what they do. This is what they do. This is our job. And so as the money decreased, people look for other avenues to get that money. And so if you were with a network, their response was, we're going to do brand deals.
Yep.
And brand deals will supplement that income. And what that means is that instead of having a commercial play before your video, instead now your video will promote something. And it can be anything from pizza rolls and Hot Pockets to an actual game itself, but we'll find creative ways to do it. Wink. And what happened was a lot of people back in the beginning, this is totally true, were worried that by coming to an audience that they had, and let's be honest, YouTube started with the premise that, hey there, and I'll use PewDiePie as an example because he's the biggest. Hey there, bros. We're all bros together. You're with me. We're all a family. I'm letting you into my life. That does not happen on normal old media. When you watch a TV show or you see, you never think that celebrity, unless you're a crazy person, you never think that celebrity's talking directly to you, right? On YouTube, what a lot of people did, especially vloggers early on, was like, we now have a relationship, you and me.
Yeah, we're letting you into our life kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's how we get you interested.
And so when that was created as like, this is how we get subscribers, like that was a strategy early on. Like, this is how we get subscribers. This is how we get retention. People they're in my world and they're part of like what I'm doing. And so when people who had done that and said like, I created a community, we're all in this together. I've let them in on my life. I do vlogs every day, right? And there's nothing wrong with doing that. It's how you gain an audience. It's how it's why YouTube audiences are like some of the fucking best, because they literally support you through thick and thin. You're like this. Once that was done, but companies said, look, the only way you're going to make money anymore doing this is if you take brand deals. People were afraid that when you found out that they were being paid to make the content that they made, that you would flip the shits. And let's be honest, you did, viewers. You lost it when you found out that people were making money, sponsoring games, all sorts of stuff, which is where the whole like big backlash of like, they didn't say that this was sponsored video and they didn't say this was sponsored video. And the reason why they didn't say it is because they were afraid that people would find out. People hid it from you. And so that's what happened early on. And then the internet found out that people hid it from you, and like every other controversy got way out of hand and crazy. And the backlash was, you must say that you are sponsored when you make your videos. And so now, if you're a person like me, you're just like, here's my video. It's called Jesse Sells Out. Leave me alone. This is a sponsor. And
like,
and that's
if you're
that's sort of the
honest
flow.
with people and do all that, it's like, hey, I'm doing a thing, it's paid, but I just want you to know that. But like for people that are like, we're like family, I would never do anything to get us out of it. It's like, hey, I'm making money off this video, but I didn't tell you about it. I know we're family, but it's well,
it was fear. I mean, honestly, truly, it was fear. It was people in a space like a lot of us had created this awesome little, I would say, club of like-minded individuals who are all fans of a game. We were playing together and you were watching me play. It's one of those things where a lot of people were like, I don't know how to approach the fact that, because when you think about it, at the end of the day, not many people actually take the time to think like, Dodger's making money off her videos. I'm making money off my videos. Crendor makes money off his videos. TV makes money off his videos. That's our job. We get paid to create entertainment for you. And a lot of times people forget that aspect of it. Like this is how we earn money. So each video is a job that we have done to earn ourselves income. And so when people forget that aspect of it, and then you feel like, oh no, I'm doing something that it might offend these people, a lot of people's initial reaction early on was to fucking hide that shit.
Hide it,
because
yeah.
it scared them. And they were afraid. They were really, really afraid. And I think everyone was at the beginning. It was a scary place to be because no one was making money there for a while. Like, it dropped drastically. And it was like, your only option is to take brand deals. And so in the end, I feel like it is what it is in, like, for example, the Netflix scape, or even on TV now, where people know you're going to DVR and skip through commercials. So they stick in like, I'm drinking a Pepsi. Or like, I can't believe these Chex Mix are so good, right? Like, it's in the TV shows now, and we just sort of ignore it, but it's totally there. The branding's all over the place. And Then they stick
It's happened
things like
for, like,
tonight's episode is
50 years.
sponsored. Yeah, it's like tonight's episode is an hour-long commercial-free, sponsored by Toyota, right?
The thing is,
And
like,
so-
all that stuff is clearly disclosed because it was regulated. Like, the bullshit happened a long time ago in TV and in radio. Like, payola was the issue with radio, where companies were literally paying money to only play certain songs on the radio. That was made illegal, because that was that big a fucking deal. The same sort of thing is happening now on YouTube because the legislation didn't quite keep up with it. Now the FTC has got involved in a big way as a result. But I think the point of the video was less that. Like, we all know about the disclosure stuff. It's been covered to death. The issue is whether or not having brand deals as a matter of course will actually be harmful to the games industry as a whole. Does it create a situation where there's a bunch of haves and have-nots? Do you have to pay for coverage? There was I think his video was inspired by the recent post on that game dev subreddit that a YouTuber was trying to charge $22,000 for a video of someone's game. Like, they sent him a thing, hey, will you play our game? And he responded by saying, yeah, for $22,000, and like had a price list. And the list like had a lower price would be like a less featured video, like these talking points and blah, blah, blah. Like, he'd had this all set out, like it was a matter of course for him. And I think that's what's caused the recent sort of backlash, is that people have found out that there are some channels which do that as a matter of course. It's not the exception for them, it's the rule.
I think that it's one of those things that has always been prevalent. Shilling and this sort of, I mean, like, when you look back at Nintendo Power, as a man who has a few issues over here, a lot of the stuff in Nintendo Power was full on, like, the best new game coming out, and you're like,
Oh, totally.
I remember playing
Well, of
this game.
course. I
This
mean,
game
any
was
of the
Yeah.
like official magazines were always like that. They were not in any way reliable when it came
And
to
that's-
first-party releases.
But that's what most of old video game media was. And it wasn't until
Yeah.
sort of like online things posted different opinions and weren't beholden to things. And then eventually those became beholden to corporations and making money. And then people went to YouTube. And now YouTube, as an entity, is slowly becoming more and more beholden to. But it's just the way it works. Unfortunately for all of us, eventually there'll be a new media, and the people who are there will find a new creative way to be truthful and honest about gaming. And then some will go there and be like, I'll pay you money to be truthful and honest about my game, wink. And some will take it, and then it's all downhill from there. It's unfortunate, but that's life, man. That's business, and it's shitty. But that's the
Life
way it's
stinks,
always been.
Which is why you need Pure Sport deodorant, sponsored by Old Spice.
I use Old Spice too.
Nice.
Crendor, that's gross. Unlike Coke, a refreshing sip of life.
I drink Coca-Cola too.
Wow. That's almost like you could hit a GG button, which are available on twitch.tv/Crendor, where you can get your own GG button and play it whenever you want.
Hold on, I have a text message on my phone, branded by Apple. Apple.
This stream is sponsored by The Borg. Resistance is futile. I mean, I can see the concerns. I think there's always going to be a huge market for just, you get a code, you play a game. And even the big streamers are still absolutely going to do that. Could you make an entire channel based on purely doing paid brand promos? Sure. Why not?
I know a few people who have.
Absolutely. But the question is whether or not you'd be able to maintain the audience for that. And honestly, I think like there's maybe this weird expectation by developers. It's like, oh, well, YouTubers are going to market for us. And we're not going to have to pay any money to do that. And that's great. Well, I mean, yes, it's cool when they do, but YouTubers are never, ever beholden to do that.
What's interesting is how many devs now, when their game fails, are like, well, YouTubers and streamers weren't playing it. And it's like, what? Like, that's not. It's now our job to do all of your promotional work for you. Like, that doesn't work either.
And at the same time, we're also the bad guy when we do play the game and it doesn't sell. And it's like, well, they ruined it for us.
Yeah, you didn't present it properly. You killed it. That happens. That definitely happens.
But it
They
goes
didn't
back
get the
to
point of the game. That's not our fault. They messed up.
It goes back to the point of it being, though, that as a YouTuber, you should know what you're worth and not ever settle for stuff. And a lot of these companies, fact, are using you to sell their game. It's not, and so, like, it's one of those things where know your worth, but at the same time, don't sell yourself out. Like, know what you're doing and be a smart businessman. And people just don't do that because, again, YouTube's a majority of youngins who are just thrilled that people are giving them money. And so it'll take a while for it to self-correct. But at the moment, it is a hellscape.
Yeah. It's, you know,
Thanks for watching the Co-option podcast.
The one last thing I'd like to say, get on this topic before we wrap up, because I know Dodge has to leave in about 10 minutes, is that I think the sort of, what's the term? Is villainizing a term? It is now. You know, the villainization, let's go with that. The villainization of developer-sponsored or publisher-sponsored brand deals is a little silly because you're turning around and basically saying, yeah, you know this really highly effective form of marketing that you know works and actually gives you a chance to compete even with like big AAAs and all that sort of thing. Yeah, you can't do that because we say so, because that's not the way things used to be done. No, that doesn't make any goddamn sense to me at all. Advertising is in a constant state of flux, and as a direct result, it's going to consistently evolve. And it's nice when these games websites say, yeah, you know, our editorial department is entirely separate to our advertising department, and they never mix, except when they do. But they never mix. Absolutely not. No. That would never happen. It's like, that's great and all, but we don't run 50-person companies with an ad team. We are one person, and there is going to be crossover, because there is no way to fucking avoid crossover. It's that simple. And ultimately, it comes down to being 100% honest with your audience as to what the content is. And if you create shitty content, like Clash of Clans, then your audience is going to react badly to it. If it's out of character, if you're doing something that you probably wouldn't be doing anyway, then they are going to figure that out, and they're going to call you out on it, and rightfully so.
Fact. Yeah.
It's a complicated thing. Obviously, I would not like to see a world where the only time a game was ever put on YouTube is if it was paid for. Absolutely not. But I have to wonder if that would ever happen. It probably won't. That's unlikely. It will most likely still be the exception that proves the rule. We ultimately still need games to play as content for our channel, but we should never be beholden to a developer or publisher who said, you know, we sent you a free game, so you better play it. Like, nope, sorry, that's paperwork. I have lots of free games. I don't get around to playing all of them. That's just how it works. We're all like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, we'll wrap it there. So let's quickly blitz releases, and then we can go.
Okay.
Let me
Blitz it,
see.
girl.
Blitz it.
Now, when you run a blitz play, John, you're going to want to gap the hole of the offensive line so that you can use this finesse spin move.
That is a gaping
really
hole, John.
Really
Okay,
men are just
today,
driving down
September
that
22nd,
gaping
we've
hole.
got Soma for PC, PS4, Mac, and Linux, which is a horror
Horror
game. that just came out.
game! PewDieBait!
I
Next.
hear it is not at all like scary. I was like, oh.
Oh, that's too bad. Heroes of Normandy.
And Norman Die. I believe that's a conversion of a tabletop war game that's apparently pretty good. I don't know what the actual conversion is like, though.
Cool. Rivals of Ether.
Early access. It's a sort of Smash Brothers kind of thing. It's doing pretty well right now.
And Blood Bowl 2, which we already talked about.
Jesse
September
Cox Misery
23rd,
Simulator. Next.
We've got
Blood Bowl
Nav-
2.
Nav Point. We've got Nav Point.
We do. Has a free demo. Take
like a
command of
space
the traffic
flying-
control station, police frigates, custom clippers in space. You are literally being a starship traffic controller. That's actually kind of
Cool.
cool.
Yeah, I was about to say, that actually sounds pretty cool.
We've got Game Type.
Help Hoodie Girl fight the evil media balls in advertisements. It's a looping shooter in which the loop increases the speed and difficulty. What the hell is that? I don't know.
We've got Shoot One Up.
Oh my shit! This game looks amazing. It is like, you know, one of those normal, like you're flying a plane and you're shooting shit, but you're fighting a woman and her boobs are shooting at you, and I don't know what's going on, but it looks amazing.
You can launch an entire armada of shmup ships. Like, you control loads of ships instead of just one. That's kind of cool, I think.
That
I
sounds
like
amazing.
you're trying to.
Oh,
blow up a
I see
woman's
the
electro
boob boss
boobs.
now. Yes, that is interesting. Okay, next.
Electro boobs.
Next up is a game called Weapon of Choice.
High energy side scroller. The playable characters, aliens. Next.
Next is called Explosionade.
I would not recommend it.
All right, next is called Concrete Jungle.
The only reason I said I wouldn't recommend it is because it sounds like a really bad drink, but that's also a shimo. These are all from the same company. That's the weird thing. They're releasing something called Mommy's Best Action Pack, which has 4 action games in it. These are all from that.
Ah, okay.
Which I kind of found
Is
amusing.
My Paper Boat from that?
Don't think so. No.
No,
Concrete
it
Jungle.
looks-
Ooh, I want this. Concrete Jungle is a city planning deck building card game. Ooh, yeah. Ooh,
Ooh,
that sounds exciting.
Yeah, that sounds
I'm all
fun.
over that. I'm all over that shit. I'm downloading that. Oh, it's out in 21 hours. Chris, get me code. Next. not
Next
watching.
up is called My Paper Boat.
My favorite boat looks kind of beautiful,
My paper boat.
That looks gorgeous.
right?
I'm not sure what it actually
You're
is.
basically a paper boat, and it looks like you're doing weird like
There's some
you're
challenges.
flying
weird
around in
modes
your
and
boat
shit.
and doing challenges. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up is called Extreme Exorcism.
Extreme exorcism, as opposed to regular, mundane, run-of-the-mill exorcism.
Why didn't they just call it extracercism?
Paranormal platformer. Oh my god, I love the game quote here. Like, they're looking into reviews. The first quote, it's fun. Destructoid. That's it. It's like, what? You couldn't have come up with anything better than that? Okay. Next.
Perfect. And next up is Shapes of Grey.
Action arcade game, seconds long levels. Yeah.
Cool. September 24th, we've got Doodle God.
Doodle
God.
Doodle God.
Addicting puzzle. I don't use the word addicting. That's terrible. Puzzle and world building game where players use logic and ingenuity to create the entire universe. That sounds horribly impractical.
There's also Doodle Devil and Doodle Kingdom.
Huh.
I was gonna say this was a
Ew.
mobile app at one point.
Doodle Kingdom.
Doodle Kingdom.
Welcome
Next up
to
is
the
called-
Doodle Kingdom.
Ah.
Else Heartbreak.
A game
Isn't
about
it?
friendship, love, and technology in a place where bits have replaced atoms. That is not in any way helpful.
Perfect. Moving on. Next game is called The Flame and the Flood.
Oh, seriously? That's going to be coming on early access, right? That can't be finished by now.
It was a Kickstarter way back when.
Yeah, that was like that roguelite sort of thing where you went through the river and docked at different islands and stuff. Yeah, it's coming on
yeah.
early access. Oh, shit, that's really cool.
Yeah, that was
that
a
might
good
be one of
game,
those-
actually. I played that demo.
That might be one of the few games I actually play in early access. Like, because that looks really nice.
The curator review here is from Jacksepticeye
Jacksepticeye.
is boss. Jacksepticeye played it and it's fucking boss. That's the review. So
Great. Thanks,
Perfect.
Jack. Much
Good.
appreciated.
thanks, Jack.
Next.
Nailing it.
Next up is Final Fantasy V.
You do not require explanation for that. Next.
Astro Lords.
It's in Russian.
Cool. Next is called Missing Translation. Speaking of being in Russian.
How convenient. Free-to-play puzzle-solving game in monochrome. Used to be a mobile app. Has no tutorials, and that's listed as a feature. Next.
Gilded Engineering Pirate Cove.
DLC for Gilded Engineering. Next.
Excited
So
for that.
excited. Dark Heritage Guardians of Hope.
Looks like a hidden object game. It is. Next.
It is.
One Ship, Two Ship, Red Shift, Blue Shift.
That is a terrible title.
What?
That's an amazing title.
That is an amazing title.
It
What
is
you,
a
Crendor? What is
tournament-ready
this?
Pong-like 2D shooter.
It's great.
Interesting.
Perfect.
Okay.
Next up is called Reverse Crawl.
Reverse crawl. A dungeon crawl where you are the dungeon. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Okay. I might try that. That looks fun. Next.
Cool. Next up, September 25th, we've got Project Tarvatan.
It's sort of space exploration game of sorts where you earn
Like it's like a
materials
sim.
and trade
It's like
and
a
stuff.
strategy. Yeah, yeah.
Ish. Yeah. It has combat and stuff. Okay.
All right. Next up is called Shoppy Mart Steam Edition.
Shoppy Mart.
That's what
Happy
Crendor
Mart.
does.
That is the worst
I was gonna
fucking
say.
looking game I've ever seen. Oh my god, the graphics on this thing are a joke. They're literally
judge
done in MS
game
Paint.
based on their graphics. We should judge it based on the gameplay and unique experiences.
Yeah, I think I can skip that one safely. Next.
Next up is called Verlies 2 in all caps.
It's a dungeon crawler. Yeah, first-person dungeon crawler, nice little cel-shaded art style by the looks of it. Hopefully not the next Guise of the Wolf.
Next is called Mars Colony Frontier.
I believe that's a Mars colony simulator, if I recall correctly.
I would assume so.
That is exactly what it is, yes. Next.
Next up is Grand Ages Medieval.
That is... you are the... It's a kind of town builder. You are the mayor of a small settlement. You try to rule all over Europe. Cool.
Cool.
That looks fun.
Next
actually.
up is called Catagus, the White Wind.
I see.
It
what?
is a 8-bit retro style Nintendo-ish
Oh, thank
game
fuck.
where you run through and you kill stuff, and even the cutscenes are old school looking.
I'm so very happy that that's coming out. Next.
There's a naked snake girl with no nipples, you know, the huge.
The huge. All right, cool. Next is called Genkai Toki Moero.
Speaking
Crystal.
of nipples, hello, nurse. Yeah,
Very
this is some
dodgy anime
bullshit.
dungeon crawler game, and that's a lot of underwear I see there.
A lot
Okay.
of nips in this game. Holy moly. The opening trailer is
no,
literally
what
a girl
is
in
this?
like pasties.
That's
Oh yeah. Oh
dear.
yes.
Oh dear.
Oh
right,
yes.
perfect.
Next.
Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer for 3DS.
Self-explanatory, I think.
Yay!
Hackers Beat. The next game.
Guys,
Hackers.
hold on. I just TB, can you put that on the screen?
No.
I want to go back to
Not
Genkai
doing
Toki
it. Not happening.
Moero
Not
Crystal
gonna
for a
happen.
minute.
Nope,
Click
absolutely
that.
not.
Click that.
No.
No. It's not dirty. Click that. That's
I-
the mascot for the game.
I fucking.
The mascot for
my
the game is a
God.
baby seal with panties on his head.
What the fuck?
Oh, it's so good. That's my new avatar. Hold on.
Sorry, I'm trying to like. Oh, to get
A baby seal with panties on his head. That is going in my life. From
Yeah, that's
my
the worst thing I've ever seen. Okay, next.
amazing.
Hackers Beat. Yeah, rhythm game with hacker theme. Yes. Next.
All right. Release 2 is on here again, so we'll move on to Strema.
Look at him in this one. Hold on. Look at
That's-
that one.
It's a platformer with some weird blue things going on with it, and a level editor. Okay, next.
Perfect. Uncraft World.
Uncraft World. Oh, it's got anime girls in it.
Yeah, I'm liking
It's
this.
Minecraft with anime girls.
Okay.
What?
This actually, oh my. Apparently, like, as you dig away the stuff, the hot anime girl is revealed. This is terrible. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. Next.
What?
Uh,
Hold on, Crendor.
Blowy Fish. is the
Blowy
next one.
Fish. Animated 2D physics platformer with slingshot controls, and the fish is upset. Next.
Arson and Plunder Unleashed.
You play an orc. Yeah, it's a 2D arcade brawler beat 'em up thingy, and you play an orc. That actually looks decent. Next.
Euclidean.
Geometric horror game, interestingly. Okay, next.
Epic Quest of the Four Crystals.
It's a JRPG that claims to not be Japanese at all.
All right, cool. September 27th, we've got Lego Dimensions for Xbox One.
I think we know what that is, yeah.
September 28th, we have Thea the Awakening.
It is a turn-based strategy survival game in post-apocalyptic dark fantasy, based on Slavic myth.
Cool. We've got Stairs.
Stairs. It's horror, I believe, yeah, psychological horror.
Okay. And last up, we've got Orion, a sci-fi visual novel.
It's a visual sci-fi novel.
Wow.
Obviously.
Nailed it.
Right, that's it. Cool. We need to go now. We massively overran that show. Thank you very much for watching, folks. I'm pretty sure you know where the hell to find us. Buy my goddamn shirts.
YouTube.com/WoWCrendor, Twitch.tv/Crendor,
YouTube.com/PressRToncontinue. Social media is at Dexbonus, DEXBONUS, Twitch.tv
Subscribe, jerks.
YouTube.com/Crendor.
Subscribe to all of us.
Just
Watch
search
every
Crendor
video
in the
we've ever
Google.
made.
You'll
It's
find
gonna
all
be
my
super
things.
awesome.
That's all
We're
you need
totally
to
worth
know.
your time. Have a great